Good evening, everybody. How are we doing tonight? Good to be here. Good to see ya. How's everybody doing tonight? Thank you for coming back. Episode number 4, I believe it is. I think I may have messed that up in the title or in my Twitter, but either way. The Amityville Horror, the true story behind this, folks, should be quite interesting. I'm excited. I gotta tell you, I am. This is one of my favorites of all time. And I can't wait to tell you guys the story. A lot of you guys probably do know this true story per se. There's been different variations of it told, true and false. It is what it is, folks. Either way, it was a crime. A crazy crime, by the way. Welcome you all. Miss Nikki was supposed to be joining me. I'm hoping to see her soon. I don't know if she is or if she isn't now. At one point, I thought she was, but we shall see, folks. If not, no worries. We will figure it out. Hello, Mrs. M. Welcome to you. So, who do we have this evening? Excuse me. Let's see. Mrs. M. Sherry's in the house. Good to see you. Hope you had a great day as well, Miss Sherry. Let's see here, folks. One moment. Oh man. Yeah. Heather, are you here? Joining me again today. It's so amazing of you for that. Look at that. Faux Popper's in the house. What's up, my brother? Good to see you, my friend. PPR's in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you, my friend. I had the pleasure of joining PPR on one of his live streams last night. Very interesting, folks. You need to check him out over there, guys. In fact, I'm going to ask one of my moderators to put PPR's link in my chat. I think you guys need to go check him out. Got some interesting stuff over there, folks. I support him 100% and back him. And I think he should get a little love for that, guys. He's got some great going over there. He's starting up, and I'm very interested in it myself. So we can put that link out there, or PPR. If you can drop your own link, sir, you're welcome to. I would love for everybody to check you out. And in fact, we've gained a couple people from PPR's community, folks, that decided to become part of our family. So, well, one of them is Mr. Pepper. We'll see him somewhere down the line. Thank you, Miss Heather. I appreciate that. And Popper, both of you, both at the same time. That was weird. That was crazy. Absolutely, PPR is very well deserved. And their community, guys, is a lot like ours is over there. They're very friendly, very positive. There's no negativity, no drama, no arguing. I mean, and last night's discussion was based on quantum physics and the conscious of the mind and stuff. It was super interesting, guys. I'm telling you. Being a paranormal investigator, I've researched a lot of that stuff, and I had to learn about some of that during my education into becoming a paranormal investigator. So I was floored by the conversation, folks. It was super interesting. So and that was a Tuesday nights, and it's something I'm glad I became a part of. It's nice to see this out here. So we have more of an extension of our family, folks. We are becoming part of PPR's family as well as he is becoming part of ours, and his people too, I'm hoping. So again, very impressive, guys. Very impressive. Check him out. Show him some love and respect. He deserves it. Moving on. Thank you again, Heather and Mr. Popper, sir. I appreciate that so much. Miss Tiffany, you made it before the show. I appreciate that, hon. It's great to see you. I appreciate you, period. And all of the love you guys are showing me with all this stuff, guys. I appreciate it. Miss Sherry, great to see you. Pamela Gribben, welcome back. Again, for those of you that missed our daytime show today, Miss Gribben joined us as a retired police officer over in the UK. She gave her her insight and her theories and opinions on the Nicola Bully case, which has blown up and fallen backwards in our faces, guys, as of today, with some things that we learned that should have been told to us 20 days ago. But, you know, it is what it is. And it's just getting worse by the moment, folks. So that was a very great show this morning, folks. I was very happy with that. And I appreciate you once again, Pamela, for joining us today as our guest and going through that scenario over there with us. Very much appreciated. Sorry, guys. Let's see. Miss Cece again, sweetest lady on the internet. Thank you for joining us. I think I got sunshine. I got sunshine on my mind on a cloudy day. We had some sunshine here today, guys. It was 76 degrees here. What's going on, folks? It is not wintertime. It is not wintertime, but it's about to drop, and it's going to get cold as hell tonight, so we'll be back to the misery, you know, like I said. Cool Gamer, welcome, brother. Good to see you. Or, well, I hope you're a brother. If not, my apologies. Welcome, sister. Either way, welcome. It's great to have you here. Great to see you here. Thank you, my dear Miss Heather. Once again, April made it. Miss Stoll, good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, and Miss Cece was over with PPR last night as well, and it was the welcome from everybody was so wonderful, guys. You got to check it out. Miss Lori Johnson's in the house. Hello, how are you, my dear? Welcome, all you meatballs. By the way, guys, I don't know if you guys noticed, some of you guys have gotten invites to the new Discord for the members. It's there, folks. I have it set up. It's called The Sauce. If you haven't gotten it yet and you're a member, it's coming soon. It's taking me time to get it all out there, guys. Ms. Lena, welcome, welcome. Good to see you again. I'm glad to have all of you guys here tonight, as you all should be coming in one by one, I'm seeing. So take your time. Come on in. Grab your drinks. Let's do this. Miss Brandy, my sister, what's up, girly girl? Thank you for joining me tonight. Good to have you. Good to see ya. Again, thank you for coming back this evening. All right, Nikki, where you at, sis? Where you at? I'm speaking in regards to Dober Mom, as you guys may know her. Yes, please, guys, hit the like button on the way. And I think you will be impressed with this story tonight if you don't already know it. And I do have another true story, quote unquote. I was told it was true. It's advertised as being true, of one I didn't know about that happened in this house again. Most everything that happened in this house happened in the 70s, the late 70s. Actually, the biggest part of this, the start of this happened 10 days before I was born in 1974, folks, on November 13th. Well, I came to find, as I was digging on this, a story that came out in 1985 that I didn't know about, where another episode took place in this home. I was under the assumption that nothing else had happened after the two, circumstances that went down. There was one more, according to what I had researched and found. I cannot find a way to clarify all of it, but it was told as a true story 100%, folks. So I'm going to have to look into that one more. I'm going to give you the deets on it regardless tonight, and we can go from there. But great story, guys. Great story. This is one movie, two movies that I actually was afraid of as a child, as a teenager, as a young adult, because none of these movies ever really scared me. Okay. This one did. Both of them. Amityville, the Amityville Horror, which is the first one that came out, and then Amityville 2, The Possession. And it's in regards to two separate families that had different interactions in this home. So I don't know, guys. It's very interesting to me, but we're going to talk about it. I'm going to show you a whole scenario on this tonight, guys. I am so glad to have you guys here tonight once again for the 4th episode of the True Crime, True Stories Behind Hollywood Movies, folks. I think it's going good. I don't know what you guys think. I'm hoping that you guys are enjoying it. Seems to be okay from what I've seen in the comments, which I do need more of. I hate to say, guys. And again, guys, anybody that would like to donate to the channel to support the channel, the bills are coming due again. Internet, StreamYard, all that fun crap. There are the links, Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo. Much appreciated it, folks. Definitely much appreciated. I started watching those at 6 years old. Love the, oh my God, they're amazing, guys. These, and then this one was redone. And I'm not a big fan of remakes, especially on movies like that, okay? They redid it where they casted Ryan Reynolds as George Lutz, okay? He did a pretty good job, folks. I'm a fan of his, you know, Deadpool, all that fun stuff, but he did a pretty good job. I was impressed with that one. I definitely have to say I was. So, pretty good story. Pretty good story. I absolutely do as well, Cece. I am a huge horror fan. For those of you that are somewhat newer and don't know, I am a trained, educated, and schooled theatrical makeup and special effects artist. I went to school for that. Thinking I was going to go to Hollywood one day, I guess, and become somebody important like Tom Savini, which is who I took the class from in some senses. Ever since that day, I've been obsessed with horror movies. Halloween, the first one ever, John Carpenter's Halloween, is my favorite movie ever. This movie here, the initial one, runs a hard third or fourth. I'm a huge fan. So if I could just do nothing but that and make it go, I'd be all over that, guys. I'd be the happiest guy you ever met. So it is what it is, folks. So that's where my paranormal interest came in to effect. And, you know, that's one of the big things that me and Miss Heather have in common. She's a huge horror fan as well. We talk about that stuff all the time. That's why she gets excited when we do these things. And I am excited. And I hope you all are excited as well. Or at least you're going to be. Trigger warning right up front, folks. I want to give you guys, for those of you that don't know, there are some triggers in this. There's some gun violence and some talk about some other things that probably aren't very... there's a little bit of like incest talk and stuff like that. So big trigger warning, guys. There's stuff like that. It's not horrifying. There's no gore to look at or anything like that. But just want to give you guys a heads up. I am as well PPR, as I told you last night. They know these guys have seen some of my masks. I've come in here with them on, trying to play around. I got a few of them, of course, Myers and the Jason, the original, one of the original Friday the 13th talkie mask scenario. A bunch of other ones. I make masks at times. My son does that as well. So, huge horror fan. I was noticing last night, PPR, in your stream, when Zeke was talking in the background, he must be too. He had posters up that are some of my favorites. The Evil Dead movies, the original. Love those. I still have, it got kind of ruined, but my original Evil Dead VHS tape that I got from God knows how long ago. I do like the vampire stuff too. I'm not a fan of zombie movies, guys. I'll give you that. I can put that out there. They're so boring anymore. Like, here comes the zombies. They're gonna eat your brains and you're dead. End of story. You know what I mean? They're all the same. I like the old school B-rated cheesy ass movies. The Reanimator, Phantasm, Evil Dead, all that stuff right there. I mean, it's that's where my love lies. Love it. Yes. All right. Well, I don't know what she's doing. Underworld. No, those weren't bad. I think in those types of series, I think I'm more a fan of, in that sense, like Blade. I love the original Dracula, where Wolfman, Frankenstein. In fact, my wife had got me the figurines, Universal Studios original figurines, and they're in black and white of Frankenstein, the Mummy, Wolfman, and all those. So yeah, because I collect toys. So very cool, very cool. All right, well, I don't know where you're at, Dover Mom. I don't want to leave everybody hanging. What's up, Star? Good to see you. Good to see you. Come on in. Get comfortable. You may enjoy this tonight, I hope. Old school is cool. I'm a huge Alfred Hitchcock fan, folks. I don't know, Popper, you may respect this. You like some of the older stuff. The Birds, yes, black and whites are amazing. Vincent Price, the original movie White Zombie, all that old stuff, dude. I love it, guys. I do love it. No lie. What's up, Lena? Thank you for joining us tonight. Great to see you again. I'm glad you're here. For those of you that know anybody that's into this stuff, give them a yell, send them a message, whatever. Let them know we're doing it. Vanilla Sky was weird. That was a weird one, David. What's up, brother? Hitchcock, Outer Limits, Tales from the Crypt, The Twilight Zone. Yeah. I mean, you guys all know I'm a huge fan of Stephen King, Clive Barker, Wes Craven. I just love it. Mama Bear's in the house. What's up? What's up, Mama Bear? Not for long. I'm sure you'll be going to bed soon, but thank you for joining us tonight, my dear. Yes, Vincent Price is one of my all-time favorites. I absolutely love it, guys. I love it. Love it. If I could find some way to do nothing but horror stuff and get away up. The X-Files is my absolute favorite series of all times. Uh-oh. What's this? PPR has gifted a membership out. Mama Bear, you are a member. I did that too, Dan. That was pretty cool. Thank you so much for that, PPR. Appreciate you. I do appreciate you. Yeah, the X-Files, I was addicted, guys. I forgot to feed my kids watching that, pathetically enough as it is. Thank you, Miss Heather. I do appreciate that, my dear. As she said, there's some sensitive content, guys, to be included in this stream. If you definitely are not comfortable with it, please feel free to step out. No offense taken. All right, Lena, thank you for that. And again, PPR, thank you for the gifted membership. That is so much appreciated. Were you already? I thought you were too. So it looked like your name just went green though. So who did the membership go to? Did it say? Sunshine was a member. Were you already a member, Sunshine? By the way, folks, just something to know. I found out today we have achieved over 50 members thus far. So we got 50 meatballs floating in this sauce with us today, guys. I mean, come on now. You can't get much better than that. You cannot get much better than that. 50 meatballs. That's a lot of meatballs, guys. I'm excited. 50 members, folks. We've gained 69 new subscribers in the past week or so. I found out today through Dobermom that we are in the top 10. And I'm not trying to brag or toot my horn. I'm just saying none of this happens without you guys. Okay. So that's why I'm giving you guys all your part. This is your channel, folks. As you all know, your members. So this is your channel. Dobermom found an app she had downloaded, and it shows it. I don't see it, Mama Bear. I don't see who it went to. It should say right underneath it, but I don't see it. You know what? I think it was you, Mom. I don't think you were a member, Mama Bear. Because, no, because underneath it, you're blue still. That's weird. Yeah, that is weird. It hasn't showed it yet. It just showed that it was gifted one membership. And then I don't see who it was. We'll figure it out. But either way, um, Dobermom had downloaded an app, and it gives you ratings on, the top 5, top 10, top 20, where you're rated in like different categories and genres on YouTube. And she had downloaded and looked up what, the true crime ratings for this and that. We are in the top 10, folks, for views on different stories and stuff in true crime. I was number 9, actually number 9. So I was like, that was impressive. So I think we're doing well, folks. And that, again, is all because of you guys. Again, this is your channel, folks. All I do is do all the technical stuff, and I screw that up too. But so I got to thank you all and tell you all that I absolutely love each and every one of you for that, for the support and everything that you guys do. My moderators, once again, I love you guys more than I can even explain to you guys. You do so much for me. And it's amazing, guys. And I am so grateful for all of you, each and every one of you guys, for being here, for being who you are. And just in general, guys, I can't express that anymore. There's no words that I can reach out and find to express how I feel in those situations, in this situation, guys. So I am so ecstatic about that. And I'm just hopefully where I'm going to continue growing, and YouTube will be happy with me. Member for 3 months, 30 days. Exactly. I don't know who it is. Thank you, Cece. Thank you so much. All right. Am I getting messages or not? No, I'm not. Where is it? Hug. I don't know. Well, all right, Dobermom. I don't know what's going on, hun, but if you come in, I will throw you up here. But I want to keep everybody in suspense. Suspense. I made that word up. You like that? It's suspenseful. Anyway, I am's what I am's, and that's all that I am's. Yeah, I was also thinking yesterday, guys, if this all works out well and I can find a way to do it, I'm going to try and throw an extra word into my name. Not that it's not long enough as it is. Excuse me so much. And start delving more into the paranormal too. For those of you that are into that. And we're going to get a lot more into that as well, since, the crimes thing. I mean, I'm going to continue doing that, forever. It's a passion I have, and I want to help as much as I can. PPR says that the person will get emails and they can tell you when they see it. Absolutely. So if you guys get an email, let me know who it was. It should show up in green, though. It may be somebody that's not in here. It's just I'm surprised. We've had problems with this since it started. But it usually shows up right underneath there who it was, and I do not see it. I don't know. It's crazy. Yes, Popeye the Sailor Man. Toot toot. I am is what I am's, and that's all that I am. Another great movie, folks. Another great movie. Robin Williams. And, oh, geez, I just watched the documentary about her. Shelley Duvall. She played in The Shining, and great movie, guys. Loved it. So, as you all, sorry, folks, as you all know, and as most of you, I don't know how many of you, okay, let me ask you guys this. How many of you guys have seen the movie, or both the movies, for instance, first and second one, Amityville Horror and Amityville 2, The Possession? If you've seen these movies, or at least one of them, throw a 1 in the chat for me, folks. Oh, my God. PPR, I thought about, that's one of my favorites, the original with Donald Sutherland. I love it. About looking into that one to see if there's any kind of a basis of a true story on that. I would be thrilled to see that if there was, because you don't have a clue how many movies I found that are based on some sort of a true story. So I'm going to look that one up and see what it says, or if it was just a complete total fiction, Either way, it's still one of my faves. I love it. I love it. All right, so I got 111. Quite a few of you guys have seen this one. Star says it's her favorite. It should be. It's a great movie. Yeah, he was. Yes, he was a great actor in those movies, guys. No, honey, it is 7 Eastern Standard Time, hon. It's 7:37 now. And you must be an hour ahead of me or behind me or something. No worries. Here, I'll give you the link real quick. I didn't think that there might be a time difference. I never thought of that. But yeah, 7 Eastern Standard Time. No worries. You're here now, and I didn't start up completely yet. There's the link, my dear. Come on up. Yeah, I don't know. Are you an hour behind me or ahead of me, Nikki? I never even thought of that. I don't. Where did it go? I don't know if you saw it or not. I did drop it in here, didn't I? Yeah, it's right below. Well, the link is right below when you said, "Okay, that's it." It's right below there, huh? If you want to click that, should be able to bring you up that way. Yeah, I should have probably thought about a time difference. I completely didn't even think about that. No worries, no big deals. You're here, and like I said, we haven't even rolled into it yet, so no biggie. Let's see. Welcome, Pink. Good to see you. Saw that movie in your early teens. Creepiest movie. It is one of the creepiest. Yes. Oklahoma at 6:39 now. All right. All right. All right. Hello. Hello. You're muted, hon. Can you hear me? You're muted. Did you hear me? You're muted. Can't hear you. I don't think she can hear me. You're muted, hon. Hello? Hello, hello. Okay. No worries. It's okay. Like I said, it happens. We'll get the things together, times and all that. Welcome back, Miss Cheryl. It's been a while. Good to see you. Right in the back chat that you can hear. Oh yeah, I never thought of that. I think she went out. She's coming back in. Dober Dad, what's up? What's up? Or are you using his phone to say sorry? It's okay. Things happen. These things happen all the time. Technical difficulties. How are you, Miss this evening, Miss Cheryl? Thanks for joining us. I appreciate you. Good to have you here. Well, it looks like the gang's all here tonight, folks. I got most of you guys in here. We're missing some peeps, but not too many. Speaking of which, I'm glad I said that. How many? Do me another quick favor while we're waiting on Nikki to get in. There she comes. Let's see if we can hear her this time. Hello.
About now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yay. Wait.
Okay. There's an echo. Hello.
We got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
All right, cool. It's the same one I've had, Cece. I just took the this thing off and I put a filter on it on the outside here. I'm trying to make the sound. I've listened to myself and I'm trying to make it sound clearer. That's all. But welcome, Miss Nikki, or Dober Mom, or Orphan, whatever you would like for us to call you. Nikki, Dober Mom.
What's today's alias?
Whatever you're comfortable with, my dear. But thank you for joining us.
Nikki's always good.
All right, Nikki, it is. Welcome, Miss Nikki.
I just did a little bit of polishing up on a deep dive, so it should be good.
Good deal there. Thank you, Popper. There's Miss Dober Mom's channel, folks. If you'd like to check her out, show her a little bit of love.
Is it the Dober Mom channel or is it the Winter and Orphan one?
Dober Mom 9400.
No, that's the personal one.
No, okay.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to get the other one set up and going.
All right, don't worry about it. No worries.
Y'all are so sweet though to share that. I appreciate it.
Trying to make you successful as well.
Love that.
We help each other around here to keep everybody's heads up above the water and keep us all out there. Sounds great.
Yeah.
Good.
Do
I sound any different to you guys at all?
You sound different to me, but maybe that's just the show.
I was trying to make sure it was crisper, clearer. There's no muffling and all that stuff. I don't like those. I call them mic condoms that you have to put over the microphone. I'd rather use the filter this way.
It's not as pretty.
No.
I mean, it's prettier without it.
That's other people said that because the thing comes out, it looks gold or whatever.
You want to see mine? Jude, will you hand me that?
Are you talking
microphone? Jude, the micro is the only microphone covered in blood. Yes. Thank you.
It is clear. Wow, that's cool as hell. Very neat. Very neat. I like that.
Thank you. I made it myself.
I used to have a mic like that. The one band I played in, we had a couple old school mics like that, and I loved using those mics. They had such a good sound to them. It was great.
That doesn't work.
Is it just a prop?
Yeah, you can see it's hollow through it, but
it's
yeah, and then it just flips on.
It's really cool, actually. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. So, and again, everybody, I've already asked you, but you, of course, have seen and know about these movies, correct, Nikki?
Yes.
Okay, I kind of figured. Most everybody does. If you don't, you've been under a rock, and I'm sorry. Yeah. But anywho, great movies, but these are definitely based on some true stories. The second half of the story is it's been a little bit embellished in the movie that you've seen, the story about the Lutz family. The first one is absolutely 100% true, and there's some twists in this that I'm going to explain to you guys down the road. It is quite the tale, folks. And again, it's another multiple homicide that just was insane, guys. So let me get things up and rolling here, and we will get the show on the road.
You got me
now, if anybody has any questions
again,
that's so good. That's okay. It's not a fashion show. It is not, and we're all family here anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Like one of JJ's two big shirts.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Come on, work with me here.
Yeah, I just recently, I hadn't been aware that the second one was a scam to sell a book.
They embellished. Well, I was going to explain that, but they embellished the story. There was, as you guys will see, there was some paranormal things that went on when that family moved in, but because of the whole scenario, and George was involved in a little bit of like cult activity. It was a little weird, and some paranormal stuff. There were some things that happened, the one child said, but they were highly, highly embellished to sell a book, like you said, and to get some money out of it to make it, more than what it was. So
Weren't they trying to, the Lutz family, not the DeFeos, weren't the Lutzes
Yeah.
trying to upsell the house, like get it cheap and then sell it for like,
Well, that's how it started. Yeah. And then they went in
yeah.
through all this other. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Ms. Heather. Again, anybody that would be interested in supporting me or the channel, there's the links, and greatly appreciate you guys. And no worries, Popper. Glad to see you here, brother. So,
Hello, beautiful mods, beautiful people.
yes, the beautiful people, they all are. Now, another thing, guys, that this was based upon two people that I have a very. You gotta be kidding me. Hold on, folks. Hello. Here we go with the prank calls now, trolls. Thank you for the views, trolls. I appreciate ya. Keep on watching. All right. My phone just dropped dead. Okay. Well, I'll be here. Get it all charged up. Whatever you got to do, hon. Whenever you're ready, let me know, and I'll bring it back up. No worries. Things happen. Excuse me. Things happen. All right, guys. It was one of those. It was a California call, Popper. I'll give you the. You want the number? It was one of those automated voice call things where they start playing music in the background, and then I hung up on it. But if you want the number, let me know, and I'll send you the number real quick. But it is a California number. Good golly, there she is. Our Molly Cat's in the house. Thank you for joining us, my dear. It's good to have you here. By the way, guys, Miss Molly is the reason why I was introduced to PPR. She brought him over here, and I'm so grateful for that. By the way, Molly, I wanted to tell you, I went over and spent an evening with the crew over at PPR's channel, and I'm very impressed with it. And thank you for that. If I would not have met him, I wouldn't have been able to enjoy that. So I am definitely becoming part of their family as they are becoming part of ours over here. So I'm grateful, Miss Molly. Thank you for that once again. All right, Dan, hold on one second. And then I'll get this thing rolling, guys. Well, wait a minute. Maybe. All right. Yeah, they absolutely are over there. They absolutely are. I am super impressed with what I experienced last night. Super impressed with it, and I will be going back. It fits very well too, Molly, being that I'm a paranormal investigator. I was very into that stuff last night. There was some good stuff there. All right, Dan, I'm sending it, and then I promise, guys, I'll have this started up. Welcome back, my dear.
Oh, you know what? It's my turn. It's my turn. Your technology was out to assassinate you, and now mine's taking its turn.
Okay. Are you good?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Like I said, it's no big deal. It happens all the time.
Thank you for that.
All right, Dan. It's sent. Check your Twitter DM. What up, Miss Jules? Thank you for joining us. Good to see you. Good to see you. Again, guys, as I was saying, this also supports a couple other people that I'm very huge fans of, have a lot of respect for. Ed and Lorraine Warren were involved in this scenario at some point too, and I have a huge respect for them and have followed them for years. So they're involved in this. The basis The video I'm showing you guys. Welcome, Pamela. Or you've been here, Pamela. I'm sorry. Welcome, Jules, is what I said. The basis of this, the video I'm giving you is brought to us from the Crime Reel. Great for these types of things, guys. You got to check it out one day. Alrighty, here we go, guys. I pray to God that it works right and my technology does not slap me in the face again. And once again, Nikki, thank you for joining me tonight. I very much appreciate you.
Thank you for your patience. That's all I got right now. Thank you for your patience. And thanks for having me on.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys. Please let me know if you can hear the audio okay. If there's any problems with anything, just give me a yell and I will fix it for ya. All right. So again, guys, and anybody that just popped in, Jules, I'm sure you know the story too. This is based on the movies Amityville Horror and the Amityville Possession. And that is this. These are the true stories behind it. I'm sure you probably do already know it, but I'm giving you the stories, guys. And we're off.
Hello, and welcome back to the Crime Reel. For this week's true crime narration, we shall be looking at the horrific murders which occurred in Amityville, Long Island in 1974. This true crime became the basis for many films. Initially, the 1979 release, The Amityville Horror, which claims to be based on true events that took place in the years following these murders.
Just so you guys know,
The house just looks creepy.
Well, the house no longer looks like that. They took those top windows and put in regular windows. They sided it. It's yellow now. And they actually changed the actual address of the house because they had so many people coming here, people like me. And, you know, I want to see it. I want to be there. I want to check it out, all that. So they changed the address so that people would stop coming, which people figured out anyway. But yeah, that no longer looks like that. You know, it doesn't look like it's staring at you. Kind of cool.
That's cool.
Kind of cool. So
wasn't it the inspiration for the Roanoke house too?
What was it?
The American Horror Story Roanoke. Because it
No,
looks a lot like that.
it does, but no. Roanoke was based on Roanoke. That whole one second. 1 second, folks. Hold on. My dog's having a seizure.
Okay. You take care, buddy. All right, Dad's gone. Somebody grab the keys to the liquor cabinet, all the cookies, and the candy from the good stash drawer. I'll meet you in the closet. No, I saw I'm a voracious American Horror Story fan, but the house, like the look of it, was solid white on the outside, but it looked a lot like that house. Like it had the creepy window eyes thing going on. That's what I meant by that. No, I know pretty much every episode forwards and backwards. Autistic, kind of my thing. So I watch something twice and I can quote any line from it. It gets really annoying really fast. I wish I could see the comments. I forgot how to do that. Chat. Yeah, I'm worried about his little ducky boy too. Heather, I totally agree with you. Roanoke was one of the worst. I was not really a fan of that one. I love the house though. The house was just like gorgeous. Creepy windows. Everybody's worried about Oscar the Duck. Oh, same guys. Hope everybody's doing great tonight. Oh, Jules is subbing me. I feel like a celebrity now. I was just stalking you today. I'm sure you know. I'm worried about Buddy Boy now. He's not usually that, ooh, you know. Usually it's just, you guys have been on the show. He does the inverted sneeze thing, I think is what somebody said it was. And he just gets a little drink of water, and usually he's, happy duck. Let's see. Chat.
Oh, right. That was interesting. Sorry about
Is
that.
he okay? Everybody on here is freaking out. Is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine. He's having a treat now. It's been a while. He has them, and it's
Oh.
usually at night when he gets excited, and he's been good. It's been a while, but he always kind of urinates when he does it, and then it looks pretty bad because he'll arch himself all the way back, and the top of his head almost touches the back of his back. That's how bad he does, but he's good.
Poor little ducky dog.
Thank you so much for worrying. I appreciate it.
Hi, Mr. Stago.
What is this now?
Oh, there goes Molly.
Our puppy baby is not doing well.
I don't know. Anyway.
Hope Miss Brandy Dago's doing good tonight.
Worry about my baby.
Yeah, she's upset. Every time it happens, she gets upset, but she's all right.
I had seizures.
You know what that means? She's a good mom.
She is, definitely.
Because I do
she
the
gets
same thing with my boys.
When she was younger, she used to have seizures too. So when she she understands it. And it
Oh, I only had one. That's how I found out I can't take anything with the letter CET at the end.
It's weird because he's kicking out. Okay. All right. I need to get Miss Boone. Good to see you.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Yeah, we do definitely. But all right, let's get this a rolling, folks. I'm never gonna get this done. I should have said it's almost 8:00 now. Thank you, Miss Heather, once again. Yes, folks. Trigger warning: sensitive content due to included in this stream. Sorry, I read something else. And guys, if you're uncomfortable, please feel free to step out. I will not take it personally. I absolutely understand. So, and you're kidding me. One moment, folks. Okay. Yeah, we're getting prank calls. This is cute. So anyway, moving along.
Popper.
In 1951, 21-year-old Ronald DeFeo and 20-year-old Louise Marie Bigant were married. Their first child, Ronald Jr., was born later that year, and when 5 years old, his sister Dawn was born. 3 more children followed. Allison, who was born in 1961, Mark, born in 1962, and the family was complete after the birth of their 5th child, John, in 1965. That same year, the family moved into a large 3-story house at the
Now that is what the house looks like now, folks. You see how the windows are square now? They're not the way they were. So, yeah, I do too, Popper. No worries. That time there was a voice, so.
Infamous address of 112 Ocean Avenue in Amityville, Long Island. The house had 6 bedrooms, a heated pool, and a large boathouse on the Amityville River. Ronald Sr. worked with his father-in-law at their Buick dealership in Brooklyn. He earned a good wage and provided an extremely comfortable lifestyle for his family. From outside appearances, it would appear that the family had an idyllic life. However, Ronald Sr. was a controlling man with a violent temper. Explosive arguments would often occur between Ronald Sr. and Louise and their eldest son, Ronald.
And as they're talking about that, you see what's in his hand, right? What he's pouring. I mean, it's it's just too funny. Obviously, it's been said that he has a bad drinking problem, so there's part of it, or had. Sorry.
Junior
Well, I
would
wasn't
often
choosing
be
that.
on the receiving end.
What's that?
I said, oh, I was not choosing that part. I just
Oh no no
if
no!
that's
Yeah, I
fine.
got you. I got you. It was just a prank call, Molly. That's all.
Of his father's temper. In addition to the problems he was suffering from at home, Ronald Jr. was unpopular at school and was often the subject of relentless bullying by his peers. As he became older and stronger, the fights between him and his father became more physical. Ronald Jr. became increasingly violent in other areas of his life and was referred to a psychiatrist to help him to manage his temper. However, when this failed to address his problems, his parents resorted to large bribes in an attempt to get
They
Ronald
sure
to
do, Miss
behave better.
Jules.
These bribes only made the situation worse. Ronald became increasingly entitled and his behaviour deteriorated. By the age of 17, he had been expelled from school due to his violent outbursts and had started using illegal drugs. In a further attempt to bring some stability to his life, Ronald was given a position at his family's Buick dealership, but despite receiving a decent weekly salary, his attendance was patchy and his work ethic lacking. Ronald's behaviour continued to worsen, and his violence, particularly towards his father, escalated. Ronald Jr. felt that he was worth far more than what he considered to be the small salary which he was receiving. He began stealing from the car dealership, and when his father confronted him about this, Ronald threatened to kill his father. On November 13th, 1974, Ronald left for work in the morning as per usual. When he arrived at the car dealership, but his father didn't, he called home, but no one answered the telephone. Ronald informed his colleagues that he did not know why his father hadn't come into work that day. After work, he visited some friends and mentioned to them that he was unable to reach his family. When he returned home at around 6:30 p.m. that evening, he found that his house had been broken into and his entire family had been shot. 23-year-old Ronald rushed to nearby Henry's Bar in Amityville, shouting for help. A small group accompanied Ronald back to the house, where they found Ronald's parents and siblings dead inside. One of the group, Joe Yeswell, called the Suffolk County Police Department to report what had happened. When the police arrived, they found all 6 members of Ronald's family had been shot. Ronald told the detectives that he thought that the murders had been carried out by a mafia hitman. The name of this man was Louis Fellini, with whom there had been a dispute at the car dealership. Ronald was taken into custody for his own safety. The police found that all the 6 victims had been shot with a .35 caliber rifle. It was a Marlin 336C. Ronald Sr. and his wife Louise had both been shot twice, whilst 18-year-old Dawn, 13-year-old Alison, 12-year-old Mark, and 9-year-old John had all been shot once. All 6 of the bodies were in identical positions, lying face down in their own beds. It was estimated that they had all died within around 15 minutes of each other, and that both Louise and Alison had been awake at the time of their deaths. The police became suspicious of Ronald almost immediately. It was soon established that the murders had taken place very early in the morning when Ronald would have been at the house. At this point, he changed his story to state that Louis Fellini had arrived with an accomplice and had put a gun to Ronald's head and made him watch his entire family being murdered. Again, this version of events did not add up, particularly as Ronald had calmly spent the day at work and then with friends whilst telling everyone he was unable to make contact with his family. Less than 24 hours after the murders, Ronald confessed to the crimes, stating that, "Once I started, I just couldn't stop. It went so fast." Just under a year later, Ronald went on trial for the murder of his parents and 4 siblings. His defense attorney, William Webber, entered an insanity plea. During the trial, Ronald behaved very strangely, frequently changing details of his story and even threatening to kill both the judge and his own lawyer. He confessed to the murders, claiming that voices made him do it. The psychiatrist for the defense supported this and testified that Ronald had a dissociative disorder, which meant that he would experience the event from outside of his body, i.e. watching it rather than experiencing it. However, the prosecution psychiatrist dismissed this claim, stating that Ronald suffered from antisocial personality disorder and as such would be perfectly aware of what he was doing and would fully understand the difference between right and wrong. On the 21st of November 1975, Ronald was found guilty of 6 counts of second-degree murder. He was sentenced to 6 consecutive sentences of 25 years to life. Understandably, the horrific nature of the murders unnerved this quiet Long Island community, and the house at 112 Ocean Avenue needed to be sold, but with its traumatic past, not many people were interested in living there. One couple, however, newlyweds George and Kathy Lutz, felt differently. They had been searching for a home for themselves and Kathy's 3 children from her previous marriage. They also had a budget of around $50,000. However, they were beginning to despair that they would never find anything suitable when they came across the house priced significantly below market value. Believing that houses do not have memories, they arranged to purchase the house for $80,000. This was considerably above their planned budget, but well below what the house was actually worth. On the 17th of December 1975, George, Kathy, the 3 children, and the family dog Harry moved into the house. It was reported that the family also purchased all of the furniture that remained in the house for a small sum. Many of these items were still unmoved from when the police had left
That
the
I don't
premises
get
the
right
year
there. That
before.
blew my
I was
mind.
just gonna say that. I was trying to wait until you
George
paused
and
it, but
Kathy
why
Lutz
would anyone do that?
Yeah, I don't think you guys, if you guys didn't catch that the Lutz family bought the furniture that was left in the house after the murders happened and lived there and used it as their own. Like, what? I'm sure that
That's
they didn't
so
keep the
gross.
values. Those were
Well, let's hope not.
yeah. So anyway, sorry folks.
I,
Quiet nights. No matter how hard they tried, they could not get warm, and there were strange cold spots throughout the house. They would hear strange noises and footsteps in the basement. The strange occurrences became more frequent and more intense. Unseen forces would slam windows and rip doors from their hinges. The family were tortured by swarms of insects which attacked them, and strange smells permeated through the house. They witnessed glowing red eyes peering into their windows and saw dreadful apparitions. Trickles of slime and liquid seeped through the house. George stated that he saw his wife physically transform into an old woman with grey hair and wrinkles before his eyes. He also reportedly saw his wife levitating towards him. The Lutz family contacted a priest for advice as to what to do about the strange events at the house. The priest suggested that they stay away from the house for a night so that they could get some rest while he investigated what was happening. On January the 14th, 1976, just 28 days after moving into their new home, the Lutz family packed for the night and went to stay at Kathy's mother's house. The priest visited their house and was reportedly driven out by a demonic voice as painful blisters erupted on his hands. The Lutz family never returned. Leaving all of their possessions behind, they travelled from Kathy's mother's house to San Diego to start a new life. Soon afterwards, a local TV crew reported on the unusual events at the house, and they brought in various so-called ghost hunters and psychics, all of whom agreed that there was a demonic spirit present and that an exorcism was required. During these investigations, the now famous demonic boy photograph was taken despite there being no children present in the house.
And this picture, they tried, and I don't know if this was doctored or what, but it was said that this was the youngest DeFeo child, Johnny. I don't know, folks. I don't know. That's all I can say
what
on
I
that.
was what I was gonna say earlier is the side of the house is the creepy eyeballs side. The front of the house
Right.
is actually very lovely looking, but it's
Oh
the
yeah,
side of the house that's like, oh my God,
yeah.
who
That's
designed that?
definitely the side for sure.
Hire your architect or your architect. Ah,
Mhm. There's actually a house in the town that I grew up with that is identical to the Amityville house. I can't remember the name of the road, but it's built the same exact way, the same windows on the side and everything. It still stands and looks identical to it. It was insane to see
is
that
it on
house.
like a street with a creepy name?
No, Fairmont, I think is the name of the street.
Oh, probably just like a Dutch colonial style
It's just built.
throwback.
It was just a style that was built right. Exactly. Insane. I used to freak me out when I was a kid when I would see it though. Insane.
I was gonna say if it's on like Sleepy Hollow or something like that, you know they did that on purpose then.
Oh yeah. Well, the house. I think the house was there before the house or the street was put together. You know what I'm saying? It's an old house. It's been there for a long time.
Gotcha. They built the subdivision around it.
Right. I got you. I got you, Jules. All right, moving on.
At the time, some claim that the photograph shows the ghost of John Matthew DeFeo, while others believe it can be explained as either a member of the investigation team or a double exposure photography trick. A book written by Jay Anson with the cooperation of George and Kathy Lutz, The book was called The Amityville Horror, A True Story, and was released in 1977. This detailed the paranormal events that the family suffered while living in the house and ultimately led to the 1979 film, The Amityville Horror, which starred James Brolin and Margot Kidder and also claimed to be based on real events. Despite the family and author Jay Anson maintaining that all of the events detailed in the book were true, many believe that this was based upon nothing more than either overactive imaginations, outright lies, or a clever ploy to make money from the previous tragedy which had occurred in the house.
Bingo.
Many of the so-called facts within the book relating to timings, weather, and physical damage to the property could easily be disproved, and many question why the couple never contacted the police during their 28-day ordeal. It has also been claimed that George and Kathy had overextended their finances when purchasing the house and had money troubles from day one. Inspired by the success of the film The Exorcist, the Lutzes, together with William Webber, who was Ronald DeFeo's lawyer, allegedly concocted the story over many bottles of wine. This story was embellished for Jay Anson's book and in turn dramatised further by the filmmakers of the Amityville Horror to the point that this so-called true story bore little to no resemblance of the Lutzes' experience in the house. Years later, questions have remained as to the exact events of the night that the DeFeo family were murdered. Over the years, Ronald has changed his story many times, and in an interview in 1986, he claimed that his sister Dawn had killed the entire family and then he himself had killed Dawn. 6 years later, in 1992, Ronald campaigned for a new trial on the basis that William had pressured him to pursue an insanity defense due to him being more interested in the potential for book and movie contracts than Ronald's defense. Ronald went on to claim that William believed that the insanity defense would make the story more attractive for book or film deals and that he would be able to manipulate these to ensure Ronald's freedom. William, however, denied this, claiming that whilst he was aware of media interest, this did not affect his defense and that Ronald had provided him with at least 15 different versions of the killings. As it was established that a silencer had not been used during the murders, there has also been speculation as to how Ronald had managed to kill 6 different people on 2 separate floors without any of them putting up a struggle, particularly...
Now,
Does that sound familiar?
the crime side. I'm sorry, what's the matter?
I said, does that sound familiar to you? How could somebody commit
What's wrong?
all these crimes between 2 floors of the house with nobody else hearing it?
Oh, right. Well, this is where the crime side of me came into effect. Because I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. Okay. I mean, he could have, but here's the thing. It's a shotgun. It makes a lot of noise. Don't tell me that the first 1 or 2 people that were hit didn't wake everybody else in the house up and get everybody running, because I know it would have done in my, So, oh, okay. I got you, Molly. So at this point, I was like, okay, that makes sense. Well, I mean, then things started to turn around, and there's still speculation that there is another killer that was never found, arrested, or nor talked about. And in turn, they're still saying he still denies that. He's changed his story probably 3,500 different times. And it's mental health, folks. We're back to mental health once again. So again, you know what I mean? But this is where it gets interesting, guys. And this is like I said, the true crime side of things that we wouldn't be looking into.
As there was no evidence of sedatives being used to subdue his victims. Additionally, none of the neighbors reported hearing gunshots, which...
And I'm sorry, too. I should have said this before. These little things I want you guys to hear, and I want your guys' opinion after the fact when you hear like what they're saying about the neighbors, how the bodies were found, blah, blah, blah. So pay attention to those things, folks.
With the type of rifle used and the neighbor's vicinity to the house should have been easily audible. Many believe that at least one other person, either Dawn or someone outside of the family, was involved in the shootings, but this has never been proved. All of Ronald's appeals and parole applications have been denied, and he remains in prison at the Sullivan Correctional Facility in Fallsburg, New York, to this day. George and Kathy Lutz maintained that they were telling the truth until their respective deaths in 2006 and 2004. Kathy's son Daniel, who was 9 when he lived in the house, also states that the events were true, and he believes they were as a result of his stepfather George dabbling in the occult. Kathy's other son, Christopher, who was 7 at the time, also claims that the story was not a hoax and that there were run-ins with the paranormal, but that these have been exaggerated for dramatic effect. The house has changed owners at least 5 times since the Lutz family moved out, and none of the subsequent owners have reported any paranormal activity.
Why did they
It would
photograph
seem
it from
that
the
the
side
biggest
like that?
problem homeowners encounter is moving.
I'm sorry.
I said, why do they photograph it from the side like that? Ugh.
To give that effect, that's how everybody
Yeah.
knows the house is that. You know what I mean? So it's you got to give it that
Yeah.
effect.
I guess so.
And paranormal fans congregating outside.
Yeah, Jules, they changed the windows out back in the 80s at some point because they were trying to disguise the house to keep people from coming to it. They changed the windows out and put in regular square windows. And the house also looked ominous. It was hard to sell the house. And they changed the address and they changed it up so that people would stop finding it, which all the horror buffs found it. And there it is. So, and she disappeared again. Okay.
Side of their home, taking photographs, knocking on the door, and trampling through their garden. The extent of the problem has led to one owner changing the address from 112 to 108 Ocean Avenue, and another replacing the windows that had been described as evil eyes within the film with regular rectangular windows. Whether Ronald worked alone or had an accomplice in the murder of his family, we will likely never know, particularly in view of his ever-changing version of the events of that night. As for the ordeal that the Lutz family claimed that they experienced, whether or not you believe this to be true will largely depend on your thoughts on the paranormal. I would love to hear your views on this in the comments below. As well as the original film in 1979, the film's success led to 2 cinema sequels, Amityville 2, The Possession, which was in 1982, and Amityville 3D in 1983. And there were also 5 direct-to-video low-budget sequels released between 1989 and 1996. The Amityville Horror was also remade in 2005, starring Ryan Reynolds and Melissa George. That concludes today's story. Thanks very much to everyone for listening to that. As I mentioned earlier, please leave comments down below, and please also click like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks very much for listening to The Crime Reel. Stay safe. Goodbye.
All right.
Just a small...
So that is basically what went down. Now, excuse me, 1 second. So at that, it becomes normal. I have seen a lady with inside of the town and my great grandma. Oh, okay. You guys are having a whole different conversation over here. I see there. Gotcha. No worries. Interesting stuff though, for sure. So at one point, Ronnie DeFeo went and, like, I think you guys heard it, and he accused. He changed it up, okay? I put the link back in the chat for you, hon, if you want to come back up, Nikki. Anywho, sorry about that. Well, he went ahead and accused Dawn and said what actually happened was that she went around. It was supposed to have been a plot that was premeditated, okay? And that he was going to do it, and something, he was on drugs or something and messed up and he just couldn't do it, or he just couldn't do it in his mind. So she went around and she shot everybody, and then he shot her. That was one theory that was talked about that he put out there. I don't know if he was trying to put it out there to try to get out of what happened or what. But it's been talked about repeatedly that Dawn did it, his sister. Now, there's also talk about a weird relationship between Ronnie Jr. and his sister Dawn. That's unethical in families, if you know what I'm trying to say. Brother and sisters should not have this
Crimes
relationship.
with interest.
Yeah, basically. And that may have had some basis on what went on as why and so on and so forth. We don't know, because Ronnie DeFeo is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, guys. He's not there. Okay.
Yeah.
He got 6 life terms. He's still in there. He's not getting out. There's no, it's not going to happen. He'll die in there, in my opinion. So, all right, Miss Heather, thank you so much, hon. Now, moving on, I found, as I was telling you guys, another story that I'm going to have to tell you about it, which I like talking about it anyway. Yeah, cuckoo for sure. All right. So now all of that took place. Like I said, the original DeFeo murders took place 10 days before I was born, folks. November 13th of 1974. It was like, wow.
Does that date ring a bell for you?
It's been stuck in my head ever since I heard it because I was born 10 days later. So yeah, it was interesting to me. He was 23 years old when that took place, which again is, you guys saw the movies 11/14. My birthday is actually 11/23, but yeah, that's creepy, Jules. Very creepy. I don't know if you guys caught on to it, but he was diagnosed by welcome life, love, and true crime. Good to have you. Good to see you. By 2 different psychiatrists, folks. The one said that he had dissociative disorder, which in turn was the finality of his diagnosis there, and that you know, that's where it came from. The first one tried to say he had an antisocial personality disorder, which they said no. Reason being is they tried to use that to get him out of going to jail and possibly send him off to an institute somewhere. Okay. No, and they said, the prosecutor said, nope, we're going to have you looked at by one of our guys. And that's where the whole dissociative disorder came from. He knew right from wrong. He knew what he was doing, blah, 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 blah. Not to say that he wasn't on some kind of hardcore drugs. You know what I'm saying? That's it is insane. Lena says he passed away.
Wasn't it? He was on the same one that starts with the first letter of horse. They both share the same first capital letter.
Oh yeah. He was heroin. You can say that. It's okay. He definitely had a heroin problem and a drinking problem, as did his father. They had addictive personalities in the family, and he was an abused child. He was beat on. It is what it is, guys. I'm not making excuses for him, but these are triggers, and these are things that can develop or overdevelop mental health, as we've talked about for days. Not the Scorpio, I'm the Sagittarius, Jules. I'm at the end of the month, the 23rd, but yeah. But anyway, moving on to the other story that I had found, guys. It kind of was interesting to me. This took place in 1985. Okay. Now, all the histories that I had looked up on this, everything they said had been quiet in this house from when the Lutzes moved out, and then there was no problems. There was renters in there. Other people bought the house, blah, blah, blah. It, you know, except there was a gap where they didn't talk about certain things. Oh, wow. Yes, Melissa, the Idaho murders did happen November 13th.
That's what I was saying before.
I didn't even catch that. I thought you were talking about, because somebody else did a theory video based on Amityville about that, which there are a lot of consistencies. Again, guys, as I talked about before with the Gainesville Ripper, there's some consistent emulation in that as well. So you never know, folks. You never know. In 1985, the house was bought once again. It had gone up for sale multiple times, okay? But it was bought again by a James and Lori Wilson that had 2 children, Kathy and Stuart. And then this is just a quick story, guys, to throw it out there for you, but still interesting to say the very least. Excuse me. So they moved in. They were living there for 2 to 3 days, and the younger child, Stuart, started getting sick, like just out of nowhere. Flu symptoms, throwing up, vomiting, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. And that went on for a few days, and then within, I think it was a 30-day period of time, weird things started happening around the house. Things started disappearing, towels and keys, and then they'd reappear in other places. Just, things like that going on. So they started getting a little weirded out, and so on and so forth. And then I think it was closer to a 1 month period of time. The husband, or the wife, was standing or talking to her children and standing in the living room. She's yelling at one of her children because they were doing something wrong. Her name was Lori. And she said she felt like something was like staring at her, and she heard in the background somebody laughing in a low pitch. Excuse me, that's me coughing. I'm sorry about that. I got something caught in my chest. But he walks out of the one room and goes to walk into another room, and you can see in the shadow, she looks up and her husband's standing there staring at her, and he just starts laughing, keeps laughing, repeatedly laughing. She's trying to talk to him and he's not responding. He's just laughing. He turns around and he walks down the basement stairs into the basement and picks up a shovel and starts digging a hole. The house still had a dirt floor. Okay. Nothing going on here, Lena. You have somebody coughing or something in your background, hun?
Me?
Yeah. Is there some kind of coughing or something going on in your background? Oh, I don't know. Okay. I don't know. It's quiet over here, Lena.
I kicked them out of the house, so.
Oh, okay. All right.
Apparently, I'm like the only thing keeping my house running, so they were too needy.
Gotcha. So he starts digging a hole, and she's still trying to talk to him. As he's laughing, he's digging this hole. She goes over, she's talking to him, he's ignoring her, he's digging this hole. She tries to eventually, I guess she has to manhandle him. And now again, this is the story that was told. The truth about it, or how true it is, I'm not positive. Okay. She had a crucifix on, one of these, around her neck, and she's trying to manhandle him to get him to stop digging the hole and pay attention to her. And she leans into him, and I guess this touches him, supposedly, and the whole house shakes and everything starts vibrating and shaking and whatever. Okay. And then he finally comes out of what he was doing, looks around like, what the hell's going on? And they go to bed. Okay. So that's my thought, Jules. I'd have taken off. I wouldn't have been trying to do anything. Bye. I'm out. Peace. So the next day they get up, life goes on, this and that, so on and so forth. And then she goes downstairs and she's trying to figure out what the hell he's digging for, right? So she goes downstairs and starts digging and finds some sort of a chest of something, okay? And moving along, the chest is found, pulls it out of the ground, grabs him and shows him, opens it up. There was a... Where'd it go? Mark's found a very old fashioned, I'm going to say probably from the early 1800s rifle and bullets. And then there were some pictures in there. And the pictures show what looked like, welcome, Shandy girl, good to see you. The pictures show what looked like a priest of some sort, or a reverend, white collar, I guess, that had some people chained to a wall, and he's shooting them in the picture. Okay. So, I guess meanwhile, her husband's upstairs and she starts to hear yelling and screaming of some sort. She goes to check it out, and he is chasing the kids, threatening to kill them. Okay. And his eyes, he turns and looks at her, and she said his eyes rolled up into his head. They turned white. Okay. And again, goes after the kids. She grabs the children, runs to the basement, and tries to protect them, hides them away. This is the part that makes this unbelievable to me. Grabs the old rifle and loads it with the ammunition in the box and shoots and kills him. For whatever reason, I would have a hard time thinking that that rifle would work. Okay, that's all I'm saying. So,
I don't blame her. If he's coming after the kids, I love my husband, but he is a grown individual who makes his choices, and I'm not his mom.
I don't
Come
have
after my kids, and it's like, no, I have blinders on. I don't care who it is. You come after my kids. It could be my own. Well, that's a bad example. It could be my dad.
I don't have a problem. That's not what I have the problem with. I would shoot him too. That's not my issue. My issue
The
is
credibility before.
the gun working, being as old as they're stating it was. Okay, the gun was right. It may have been from the 1700s. Okay, but she loaded this gun, shot it, and it killed him. And she goes on trial.
How'd she know how to load it? Because that's like a freaking blunderbuss or something? Like she's that good at history?
Well, here's the thing: if it's a rifle from the 1700s, I'm gonna venture to say it would be a black powder gun. That's what I'm having issues with too. But whatever, it's just part of the story. So, she gets tried for murder. Okay, she goes on trial, gets tried for murder, and is given life in prison. The kids moved with their grandparents, and that's the end of it. So that supposedly happened there in 1985. I looked everywhere I could to find some way to verify this, right? And I can't find it anywhere. I can't find any kind of police records on this, anything. So I don't know, folks. They said this was a true story. This happened to another couple that bought the house and blah, blah, blah. I just don't know. But
what day was it in 1985?
That I didn't. Wait a minute. I didn't get that. It said in 1985. If it was November 13th, that would be interesting. But
Yeah.
Now it was also said, guys, and it hasn't been right. That's the problem, Jules. And I don't like stuff like that. I'm going to keep trying to verify it because it is an interesting scenario to me, but we'll see. So there were some other stories that were pulled up out of this house about things that went on in that house, such as I think when the Lutzes were, or Lutz, I call them Lutzes, somebody says Lutz. The address of the Amityville house was 112 Ocean Drive. It was changed to 108 Ocean Drive in an attempt to stop people from visiting the house. Absolutely, sunshine. So according to things that were told when the Lutzes lived there, the little girl had heard some scraping noises at one time, like scratching on walls. Went to the basement and they found a room behind the wall in the basement that was big enough for like two people. And I guess they saw, this is paranormal sides of things, but they saw what looked like two people sitting in their chain together with red eyes. Both the kids seen this. Okay. This is where I believe that the Lutz's story has been embellished to some extent. This whole story has always been put on the paranormal burner. Okay. But I'm not saying paranormal things didn't happen there, folks. I do know that crime things happened there. And I do have initially going back to the DeFeos, Ronnie had tried to blame this on a mafia hit guy.
Yeah, that was his first first draft. And they put him in witness protection, right?
No. In prison they did, yes. But
Yes.
not, I really just said mafia hit guy. That's hilarious. Mafia hit man, I'm sorry.
His dad did have connections to the mafia. I was pretty sure they had put him in witness protection initially and then put him in prison.
Well, when he first went in, he was arrested immediately. When he blamed it, the day that they went to the day the 14th, he went to the bar, said, "Oh my God, somebody broke into my house, and I think my parents have been shot." People from the bar went there. They called the police after they saw the whole mess. And when the police got there, he said, "I think it is Louis Finelli is his name. He was a mob hitman." Okay. And he said, "I think my dad owed him some money, blah, blah, blah. And I think that's who did it." They arrested him on the spot and said that just sounded too weird. And then when he went into prison, I had heard that he was put into segregation to protect him from something like that. Like that they were worried that because he gave that name and he was worried that he was going to be killed, but it never ended up panning out to be anything. You know what I mean?
Do you ever watch Ken Maines?
Who?
It's Unsolved No More. Ken Maines. He's a former undercover agent, and I think he might have worked with Joe Kenda, but I know Joe Kenda is like definitely in his quotes in his intro, like recommending him.
I know I never seen it.
Oh, you would like him then. He's this dude and he wears like all these sleeveless shirts and he just tatted up and he's got like all of his former like gang tattoos blacked out, obviously. But he was an undercover cop.
I have.
He did it.
I've seen him one time. I did see him one time. Now, as soon as you told me about the tattoos, yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Okay. And like the awesome fantasies. But he did, that was the deep dive I watched right before this. And he was saying that they did put him in witness protection. And then it was like I'm hearing an echo bad. Anywho, they put him in witness protection and then they put him in prison when they found out like it was BS because he said that's one thing mafia doesn't do. They don't mess with kids. And there were children more than adults. Like that was a big tip off that it wouldn't be a mafia hit. But that's just, I'm going off of his deep dive on this. That was my refresher today. But they don't really cover that in the movie either. So
Gotcha.
That's why I have questions.
It could be something that was left out of the story when I got it. Either way, you never know. There's so many little pieces and parts of things. Thank you, Miss Cece, that came out of that story too. But the biggest thing with this, guys, is that it's still believed by police detectives and authorities all around that there always was another killer that was never talked about or found. And then it very well could have been that they were both, well, that Ronnie was drugged up really bad that night. Okay. Because he absolutely did not remember what he did. Okay.
Have you ever seen a ghost?
I'm sorry?
Have you ever seen a ghost?
Have I ever seen a ghost?
Yeah.
In what form?
Just a ghost of, or anything
An
supernatural.
apparition, or what a ghost, like what you would say a ghost does?
Well, not like, I'm not saying like most people don't witness a true possession, but like anything supernatural with the afterlife.
Yeah, I'm a paranormal investigator, hon. I've seen lots of stuff.
See, because, okay, I'm new here, so I'm learning something new about you too.
That's okay. That's okay.
I've been legally dead twice, and it wasn't until the first time, or actually, I'm sorry, it's 3. I just found out, honestly, about 6 months ago from my ex-husband that when I was giving birth to Jude, I told you guys it was a C-section with no anesthesia, like it wore off.
Yeah.
They had actually come in the room and told Sean and my daughter, "I'm sorry, but your wife died." And him and my daughter are freaking out, like start the grieving and all that. And then they come back in and they say, "Never mind, we got her back." And then they came back in like 5 minutes later and they were like, "We lost her again." And he was like, could you just not do, it's a military hospital, of course. So he was like, could you just not do this in front of my kid? Like, pull me out in the hallway. Like, what is going on? And about that time, the anesthesiologist came running out and said, like, we got her back again. Hi.
Okay.
But after that, that's when I started like seeing things like little shadows of stuff and getting like weird vibes and feelings and stuff. But
Okay. So, okay, listen. And I'm not going to get into a full blown conversation about the paranormal things tonight because that's not what I was about. But I will talk a little bit about it with my education on it. We can get into a whole, and this was actually what went on last night over at PPR's place. We can get into a whole conversation about levels of consciousness and what that means, and you know, stuff like that. Okay,
enlightenment, all that.
Oh, yeah, like that. Okay, so you hear people tell stories all the time about, you know, they passed away, they saw the light, they saw God, or they saw heaven, things like that. We hear those stories a lot, and then they come back. Okay, now it's an argument on my side of things. I started TRAP, which is my ghost hunting group, Trumbull Researchers of Apparitions in the Paranormal.
I like that acronym.
Well, we kind of stole the idea from the fact that, I don't know if you remember the TV show Taps. It was the original ghost hunter show with the bald guy Jason and all them. Taps, it was called. Well, we tried to figure out a way to make an acronym out of our group name, and that's what we came up with. So anyway, it was Trumbull Researchers of Apparition. I can't talk tonight. Trumbull Researchers of Apparitions in the Paranormal. When I did that, I got registered. We were a sister group of that group, TAPS, so on and so forth. So we got access to a whole bunch of different things because we
Well, oh, I can't hear you.
had that gave us access to a bunch of different stuff. And I started getting into, as I said last night over at PPR's place, I started getting very interested in the whole topics of consciousness and all that kind of stuff, and it broadened my mind in a whole different scenario. And I initially started my group. I'll be honest with you guys, most people would laugh when I say this and they don't believe it. I started the group because I am a skeptic when it comes to ghosts. Okay, my wife is what they call a sensitive. She sees things, hears things, this, that, and so does my son. Okay, and my mother, to be honest with you, but I don't. You got to show me or hit me in the face with a baseball bat for me to believe it, is what I'm saying. I just want to go do that.
Are you sure you're not from Missouri?
I am absolutely not from Missouri. I was born and raised in Shithole, Ohio.
You know our state motto is the show me state, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's why
I gotcha. So that being said,
honestly,
before
that happened to me, I didn't believe in it either. Like, I just thought it was like scare tactics, like parents trying to keep kids in bed, stuff like that. But no, like,
no, absolutely.
It's one of those things, like, once you see it, and I'm doing like self-soothing stuff right now. Like, once you see it, it's
well, one of the reason why I just told you that whole story is once I went through the schooling and all that to become a paranormal investigator, I learned all these things about subconscious and like I said, consciousness levels and what our mind taps into and what the levels that we can't reach while we're alive and what can't happen as we pass away and things like that. And a lot of that conversation went on last night over at PPR's place. It was a very great conversation, folks. I was very into it. So what happens there? I've read this. Okay. Scholars have written this, people with, psychologists and psychiatrists and so on and so forth. When people's minds, not their bodies, when their minds go through a traumatic experience, such as what you probably went through, your mind has a tendency to reach out for that next level of consciousness, thinking that you're leaving now. Okay. and like goes towards that. Now, this is just a theory that was written by psychiatrists and psychologists. I'm not saying these are facts, but to explain what you're talking about in a sense. And it says that,
Oh, no. I will not talk about what I went through or what I saw, just because it upsets literally everybody I've ever, like the 5 people I've trusted. Like, no, it was nothing like everybody else says it was.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to get you to say it. I'm saying what I'm explaining, the way I've understood it, is what you went through. And that's
like the Lazarus theory?
Yeah,
or the
not
Lazarus?
the actual, what you actually saw or heard or felt or none of that.
Right. No.
The fact of it happening is based on the fact that your mind is telling you itself it's time to check out, basically, and is reaching out to go on to that next level of consciousness. In turn, you experience what you experience, whatever that may be, and then you come back from it. And there, in turn, it has a tendency to open your mind up to things that normally it doesn't see because of that. It's almost like reaching the brink of a new level of consciousness that we're not familiar with as humans because we're still alive. Okay.
So that makes so much more sense than the garbage that I've been. That I can get on board with. That makes sense because
exactly. I mean, it's a logical explanation in a sense. Okay.
Before the defining thing, it was movie clips of the highlights of my life before the big thing that upsets everybody, which makes sense because I have Asperger's and I am movie music centric, like books, movies, music. That's me. So that makes a whole lot of sense. And that makes way more sense than the light or whatever does to me.
Well,
without
here's the reason why people say the light, or in some senses, I have a, regardless of what my logic tells me about certain things, I believe in God. I have a faith in God and prayer and all that. Okay. That's just how I was raised, and it's embedded in my mind and embedded in my body. So it is what it is. And I'm okay with that. And I'm not going to change that. But the theories are, and Jules made the point here, you can do that too, even without trauma. It's about frequency and your level of consciousness. Okay. And like she's saying, opening your third eye naturally, and it can be done. Okay. Like people like me, probably never, because I'm ADHD and my mind does not slow down or calm down enough for that to ever happen. Which is why, in fact, it would be a traumatic experience if I didn't know how to do it that would cause it. Okay. So when people say they see the light, or they went to heaven, or they saw God, or they this or that and everything else, that is, in a sense, what very possibly that could be in that experience, not necessarily
what they hope to see.
And you're it's based on what you think, what you've been trained. We're trained individuals, folks, but human beings are trained to see, feel, and believe certain things a certain way, period. There's nothing that we can do about that, other than changing our own minds. But that is a fact. From the moment that we're born, we start dying, and we start growing, and we start learning, and everything that we do, everything that we learn, in a sense, is a manifest. Okay, she just said it. I was going to say it. It's a manifestation of your mind. Thank you, Jules. What you're expecting to happen. You know what I'm saying? And that's going into that next level of consciousness. But you come back from it, so you never fully reached it. And that's why now that part of your mind is open more than what it was. When you very well may have been able to use it all the time, but that traumatic experience just kind of opened the door all the way for you, unlocked it and opened it for you, rather than doing it the hard way, per se. Okay. And a lot of people that are medium sensitives here, I'll give you a story why I believe my wife is a sensitive. When she was 3 years old, she was run over completely, fully by a car at 3 years old. Her entire body, folks. and she was tiny. She's tiny now, but she was tiny then. Her entire body. She has a scar that goes from right at her sternum all the way down below her belly button. They had to cut her open and put her organs back in her body, sew everything back together, take out the things that were damaged, and she's had that her whole life. Okay. And has told me stories of being 5 years old and has these experiences. Okay. And I think that may be why, because she died basically too. At 3 years old, you cannot be run over by a car and survive it. Not normally. Okay.
Can I interject one thing? Just 1 second.
Absolutely anything you want.
Okay, just one thing. With my son, they had a hard time getting him out, and then the anesthesia wore off. So I started EMT. You know this. I started bleeding out like crazy. It's Texas Chainsaw, but they figured I was already a goner because military hospital. So they were having trouble getting him out, and they were like, "Well, he's perfectly healthy." So then I got cut hip to hip. So she's got one that goes there to there. I've got one that goes hip to hip.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
Beautiful.
And that's what I
Battle
tell her.
scars, like
I tell her all the time. She hates it, and I tell her, and I'll touch it, and I always have, and I kiss her scar because it's there, you know. And I tell her it's.
Shut up.
I tell her it's
okay,
her.
that's JJ, and I hate mine.
I tell her it's her beauty mark, and I said, and there's nothing ugly about it. So, but anyway,
I called mine my war trophy. But go ahead. Sorry.
Moving past
I just want to say that, like, that's beautiful.
Well, I mean, it is. It's what it is. You know, that's one of the things that made me fall in love with her. You know, I mean, she made it through that, and she's still fighting.
She's strong as shit. Like,
you know, she's had seizures when she was younger because of that, and she's made it past that and through that and all of that stuff. So she's an amazing woman. She's had four children she's delivered. They've all been C-sections except for one, but you know,
same.
Just saying, she's an amazing person. So, but that is why I believe she has the abilities that she has. You know, there's one instance, I think I told most of you guys, we went to the Moundsville Reformatory doing a investigation, which that place is a damn mess. I'll be honest with you. And I was on one end of the room. She was 35 feet away from me on the other end of the room. And she's like laughed, and we were in the dark talking. Somebody had provoked a supposed spirit there and said the way he went out, they called him a bitch and said, "You went out like a bitch. You're a coward, blah, 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 blah." Well, right when that dude said that, my wife laughed and she was like, "Stop doing that, Joe, quit." And I'm like, over here. And I said, "What are you talking about?" And she was like, "Wait, what?" And she said she felt something on the back of her neck, up and down her neck, right?
Uh-huh.
But when we were done with the investigation, we go back upstairs and we're talking to the tour guide, this, that, and everything else. And he asked, "Did you have any kind of experiences when you were downstairs in the sugar shack?" And we were like, "Well, yeah, actually, we don't."
I know where you were.
We didn't get to check our voice recorders, but we told him about that, and he laughed and he goes, "Oh, well, that's number 4." And I'm like, "I'm sorry." And he goes, "Yeah, 4 different people have had that same experience down there with the back of the neck thing." So obviously, that guy liked women, and that's what it was. So yeah.
Can I bring on Dober Dad to please tell you a story?
You can do what you want, whatever you want, dear.
Okay, so I'm a weirdo, and I like walking my dogs through the cemetery because we live right in between 2 cemeteries. Go figure. So I like walking them through the cemetery because nobody's gonna mess with a chick that's got 3 humongous Dobermans walking through a cemetery like it's her turf. So Baba Yaga always stops at this one mausoleum, like every time. Like she won't complete a walk until she stopped and sat at this mausoleum. And I kept telling JJ that she sits in front of this mausoleum, and then I watch her physically lean as if she's leaning up against somebody being pet. And she just does that number.
Right.
So, and he's never seen anything paranormal, so he's kind of skeptical still. maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll let him say that. But
Absolutely. He's more than welcome. I've told him the same thing. More than welcome.
scooch in,
Molly, where are you, my dear?
my hubbers. So I'm telling him that
What's up, brother?
What's up, buddy? How are you?
you look way short over there leaning in like that.
I am good, sir. We got
Um,
Dober Mom and Dober Dad on screen, folks. Welcome, welcome.
Kind
sir.
of like you're gonna have to get in here.
There he is.
He's leaning over funny. But
It's all good.
so when Bobby Yaga was pregnant, like she kept taking off and we'd have to go hunt her down and she would always be at this mausoleum. And I told him, I think she brought something back with her. He's like, okay, yeah, okay. I'm like, no, I really feel like she did. I'm seeing like a shadow in the kitchen and the drawers and the cabinets and stuff like that are all moving crazy. Like, I feel like she maybe picked up like a supernatural hitchhiker or something like that.
Mhm.
And do you want to go from here for a little bit? No.
Sorry.
No, tell him.
Don't be putting him on the spot.
That he
man.
came back.
Well, you can't really say what
Yeah.
you said though.
Yeah, he can say whatever he wants to. I don't care.
I was talking
No, it's-
trash to that ghost. It didn't like me.
We Googled who the mausoleum belonged to. And it was a really stuffy upper class founding like member of our city's wife who actually established the Southeast Missouri Humane Society.
So,
Right.
like a prissy, snobby bitch.
But she established the Humane
Exactly.
Society. He said worse than that.
That's okay. It's okay.
He said way worse than that. And then he did a helicopter movement. I'm sure you can imagine.
Yeah.
In her direction. But she established the Humane Society, and I was like, well, that makes sense because Baba Yaga is pregnant and she's a dog. That would make sense why she would always go to that mausoleum, and it legit looked like an invisible person let her lean up against their thigh and was petting her. And
Okay.
he did that, and then do you want to back me up here? Life was a nightmare after that until I had to like crack into like the hardcore voodoo to
So he called her out and brought her to the surface, basically.
no,
Definitely
he
did.
called her a bunch of things that there's no way she could have possibly been in
Okay.
that day and age.
Like I'm saying, he called her out and brought her up, brought the spiritual part of it out and the angry side of it. I got you. And so I've seen and heard about this before. Yeah.
The cabinet doors, I mean, it was everything that could possibly go wrong with the house
Welcome, Breezy.
itself.
Oh
Just-
no, I've been there. I've been there. None of this. Listen, guys, this is the main reason why I started the paranormal group that I started. When I met my wife, I had never experienced any kind of paranormal anything, and I never believed in it. I loved it, guys. I'm a horror freak. I love that type of stuff. I always did. Okay, so we were together for 6 months. And the house we lived in, I had heard that somebody had died in it. It is what it is. I don't know, whatever. You never know until you know, okay? And
There's only so much land. Somebody's died everywhere.
you're right, and at least somewhere around there. So, we go to bed one night. The kids are at the other parents' house for the weekend because we both came. You know, we did the Brady Bunch thing. I had my first wife, her first husband. We had kids. We brought them together, and then we had one together. So there's, we're the Brady Bunch, hip hop hooray. They were all at the unrespected other halves for the weekends, and we're in bed. And she decides she wants something to drink. So I go downstairs and I walk in my kitchen, and every cabinet door and every drawer is open. And I had a lot in that kitchen. And I'm like,
What did you do?
what the hell? I look around and I'm like, and mind you, I had never had any other kind of paranormal experiences. I was 28 years old. It is what it is. So I closed them, shut the drawers, thinking, whatever. She was doing something in the kitchen and forgot. So I go back upstairs.
So you
And
Dylan Mortensoned it.
I give her kind of, yeah. I gave her she used to have a fetish for milk. She loved milk, period. Okay. I took her up a glass of, I think it was Coke or something like that. And I walk in and I handed it to her and she looked at me and I'm like, can I, what's up? She goes, I wanted milk. And I'm like, okay. Now, mind you, when I went downstairs, and this is 100, she can verify this for you guys. Okay. I went back downstairs. There was no noise. There was no sounds. There was no nothing. I walked down the stairs, turned the corner, and started to walk to the kitchen, and everything was open again, except for the drawers this time. All the cupboard doors were wide open. Not cracked, all the way open, like they were flipped open, okay? And I just stood there for about, I don't know, 6-7 minutes and stared. I walked back. I checked the back door. It's locked. I walked to the front, checked the front door. It's locked. I checked the basement door. That's locked. There's nobody around. My neighborhood was quiet. You know, it's not any kind of, and I'm sitting there, I'm standing like I wasn't drinking that night. I wasn't doing anything. And so I walk in and everything is open. Okay. The drawers were still closed. So I go back in, I close the doors again, I pour her damn glass of milk, and I walk around the corner to go back upstairs. And for whatever reason, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this. Okay. Have you, as a child, I experienced it, but didn't know what it was. That night when I'm walking up the stairs, and we had carpeted stairs, super carpeted stairs. They were like, the carpet was like that thick. Okay. Very nice, expensive carpet. So it was super padded. There's no noise possible in this house on the floors. I walk up the stairs and I hear what sounded like in the kitchen floor, because it was vinyl, linoleum, whatever the hell it's called. And I stopped and then I turned around and started going, and I literally felt like something was behind me. Coming up the stairs behind me. So I kind of just ran and said, you know, the bitch in me jumped out like full force at that point. And I ran all the way up the stairs, handed her her milk, shut and locked our bedroom door, and said, if you don't like that, I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to bed. Good night.
I just heard you use a word he doesn't use, and I've never heard you use before.
Well, I wouldn't call somebody else that. I was calling myself that. But anyway,
I had a similar experience when I was doing DirecTV. I've been doing DirecTV for about 4 years, and we have Bollinger Mill is a big area, kind of a little small town, but it was a big thing back in the day. They've been around for a long time. It's like one of the oldest still. Well, now they're revamping it, but it was the oldest working mill in Missouri for the longest time. Still has covered bridge and everything next to it. Well, I was doing DirecTV, and I showed up at this house, and it was the old Bollinger house. I come to find out later on. I showed up to the house. The door, it's got like a foyer with a wraparound porch that's all screened in, and you have to go through that door to get into the actual door to the house, you know, and it's a double door with a screen door and a regular door. Well, I get into there. I get up to the house, and I knock on the outside door to the foyer, and it's locked and everything. But the inside main big door that's all wood and stuff, that's like 8 foot tall, the old 1800s doors, it's wide open, the lights on, fans are going on the inside. And I knock, I don't hear anybody. And typical, you know, we walk around the house, kind of see if we can find people, because they tend to be doing, you know, God knows what. And so I go around the house and I hear a truck actually pull up and stuff. And I, you know, slowly walk around and I see a guy up there and I start talking to him. Well, it's the owner of the house, stuff like that. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know, and stuff like that. I was like, oh, well, I guess you just left or something like that. He's like, no, I haven't been here all day. And we slowly making our way back up to the front. And when we get back up to the front, the door's closed, the lights are off, the fans aren't going, nothing's going on. And I'm like, no. I was like, you're messing with me. You've been here. You just, you know, or something like that. You must have went up to the front while I was around back. And he's like, no, nobody's been here. We'll come to find out it's the old Bollinger house. It used to be a slave house. It was an old Confederate hospital during the Civil War and stuff like that. And he started telling me all kinds of tales where the slaves died, Civil War people died, because they did both the Confederate and the Union side there for the hospital, which a lot of hospitals did on small battlefields did that. But they said a lot of people died there. And he said he's had numerous issues with like cabinet doors being opened all of a sudden, or doors being opened, lights being on, and he said nobody's been there, or they're sleeping. So
Right.
you know,
And
he said
see,
it's he said it's a very common occurrence, and you know, he's just moving in there, and he was actually a private investigator, come to find out and stuff like that. So he did a deep trove into it because you know that's his natural nature of being a PI.
oh
Was crazy, and he lived literally a half a block from my mom for years and years and years, and I never met the guy and stuff, and ended up being kind of weird the way that all came together. You know?
And see, like poltergeist activity, and that would be what. There's different versions, like residual hauntings. There's poltergeist activities. There's this. There's that. That kind of stuff is considered poltergeist activities. And there's reasons behind it. Again, I'm not going to go into all of that because it's a whole other stream, and I've got all sorts of stuff. But like that same house that I'm telling you guys about that happened in, 2-3 months later, my wife was in the basement doing laundry, for instance, real quick, and I was upstairs, and I walked past. I went out of this was back before computers and everything were super important. I yelled past. She was doing laundry, and I yelled down the stairs. I said, "Hey, hon, I'm going to get a newspaper. I'll be right back." Walked out the back door, got in my car, and left. Went down to the corner through a drive-through we had, grabbed a newspaper and a pack of cigarettes, turned around, and was coming back home. Meanwhile, she's in the basement, and I'm yelling at her, saying her name. "Hey, Brandy, Brandy!" I'm doing that. She's answering me, right? Okay. She comes upstairs as I'm coming in the back door. We kind of met because the back door's here, the basement's here. And she was like, "What the hell are you yelling at me for? And you're not answering me." And I said, "What the hell are you talking about? I just walked in the damn door. You're watching me." That's bullshit. She goes, "You just yelled my name 3 times. I answered you and you didn't respond to me." I said, "Honey, I just walked back in the door. I left. Here's the newspaper to prove it. I didn't have this before. Here's the cigarettes. I didn't have these either. I just came back from the store." She was like, "No. She goes, "You just yelled my name 3 times. I said, "No, I didn't." Again. Okay. And there's many more stories I have that I could tell you, but it happens, folks. It happens. So that house.
2 things about your experience. 1, she told you what she wanted to drink. She didn't make you guess or make multiple trips. I just wanted to point that out. Give credit where it's due to Mrs. Dago.
At this point, I don't care 2 shits about that because I was scared to death. That's all I was worried about.
I'm just cracking a joke, man. I'm just cracking a joke.
I know, absolutely. I know.
As a wife with an Italian smart aleck for a husband as well, my first question is, what did you do? What did you say? What'd you do?
What did I say? The first time or the second time?
Either. Why was there a second time after the first?
The first time I didn't say or do anything. I just shut the cupboards and drawers and was thinking that which was kind of it was way beyond what.
That's a Dylan Mortensen move right there.
It was way beyond something she would do. She would never leave all that open. Okay. Now the second time I said a whole bunch of words that I'm not going to repeat in here, and
understandable.
And I told you I flipped out and I took her damn milk and I never went back down there the night until the next day. And when I went back downstairs, I told her the story and she just looked at me like I was stupid. But then that whole
hunted, you gathered.
Yeah, well, it is what it is, you know. Welcome, Fupa. It's good to see you. And yes, we can see your comments. So, and the next day I went downstairs. The cupboards were all closed. Nothing had changed. Everything was fine. And then, like I said, these other experiences happened. We eventually did move out of the house, but we've had experiences in just about every house I've lived in. This one, they haven't. Well, my mother-in-law has experienced something. She hasn't, but I have. I've seen things. My son sees things all the time. I'm not going to get into it, like I said, but yeah, it's a thing, and we can do a whole stream on it one night. I don't care. You know, it's not really true crime, but I told you guys I wanted to delve into the paranormal here and there. So
if we're going to stick to movies, then I think the movie needs to be the movie Spell. That's my vote.
Is it based on a true story?
It's based on true culture.
I'll look at it and see what it says because, like I said, the series is based on true crime, true
Yeah.
stories that these movies are based on. But I'll check it out. We
This
can make
one
it
is based on someone who thought he was possessed and hexed by a voodoo priestess in New Orleans. And it's got oh my gosh, I forget her name. And I
hold
hate
on,
that.
hold on, 1 second, hon. Hold on.
Yeah.
YouTube told me I can't comment for 23 hours because I was bullying when I wasn't. What? You don't bully anyone, Fupa. Where did in here?
Yeah. She's a beam of sunshine.
No, that's something's wrong. I don't know. Don't worry about it, Fupa. You're fine.
Can we sign a petition?
If there's an issue, I will figure it out and fix it. Don't worry. Anywho, to go into what JJ was talking about for a minute, the area that I live in is a huge Civil War battleground area. We have mounds all over the place. Our city hall, well, the town I grew up in, the city hall is built on top of burial ground. Like they would bury their dead during the war right where they were laying at. They dig, and that's why they used to have all these like mounds and stuff like that. So the whole town is pretty much haunted. I've been through a lot of it. And this was a huge stop for the Underground Railroad back in slavery times too. And I've been in multiple houses that have the Underground Railroad in it. There's still tunnels and stuff. They're all blocked off now, but there's a lot of activity in these houses, by the way. So yeah. And there's a lot of energy. Hold on, folks, 1 second. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of energy that comes from those places for whatever reason, and that's what all of this is based on. So yeah.
Our first date was in the most haunted building in Cape place where we live. And
Cape place where you live. Gotcha.
Yes, the place where we live. And it was actually a former Confederate, not proud of that part, but Confederate hospital during the Civil War, because we're on the Mason-Dixon, just south of it, obviously. And I've had so many people that have said like they've seen Confederate ghosts and stuff like that around there, and like we've got a fort close to us and stuff like that, and that's crazy that you guys have the same thing there.
Oh, it's big here. I mean, it's really big. I mean, Ohio was, I'll go all the way back to the Revolutionary War, the French and Indian War. There's stuff all around this area in Ohio. So we have the Serpent Mounds out here, and so in fact, another house I did. Everybody, just for not right now, unless you want to, but for shits and giggles, look up something called the Bel Air House in Bel Air, Ohio. We did an investigation.
Didn't Ryan and Shane? Sorry, I got excited. Sorry.
Well, go ahead with what you were saying.
Didn't Ryan and Shane from BuzzFeed go there? I'm pretty sure they did.
I don't know. I don't know who that is. I know Sam and
thing.
I think Sam and Colby. I think those two went there after we went there years ago. We went there like 12 years ago. But that one actually scared me to death. So look it up. It's interesting. The Bel Air House in Bel Air, Ohio. It was insane.
I had a vocal glitch or verbal glitch or whatever. Ryan and Shane aren't really, they're on Hulu. They're not really on YouTube. I messed up with that one, but let's see. I'm gonna Google it because I'm pretty sure they went there and did they're so funny.
It has been said about that house that it's not, let alone the scariest house in the United States, but possibly in the world, is the way it's been described.
They did go there. They went there twice. Okay. Yes. See?
I can't see
BuzzFeed Unsolved is the name of the thing. And they've got it on, they're on Amazon, Hulu, whoever. And it's these two buddies. One of them is a raving skeptic, and the other one is like a paranoid believer.
Yeah.
And they just make fun of each other and butt heads the whole time. But it was, I believe, the first place that they stayed overnight.
Mm-hmm.
And Shane is the skeptic in that series, and he was like, oh, I don't believe in demons or ghosts or anything like that, so watch this. And there was a pentagram already like done, like carved in the basement cement.
Yep.
And he laid in the middle of it like that.
Nope.
And he was like, yo, demons, it's your boy Shane, what's up? And the whole time Ryan's just like munching on fingernails, like going crazy. And he's like, stop it, you're gonna get possessed. And he's like, I'm not gonna get possessed because it's not real. And Ryan's like, oh my god, we're gonna die tonight. Like, it's awesome. But they caught real stuff too. Like, it was really.
Oh, I got massive amounts of EBPs, and we got hits on we had a hit on a VHS cam recorder that we recorded some. It's insane. Just look it up and watch something on it. You'll see it. It's crazy. But anywho, I got way far off the subject. But
no, it's okay. Their second episode, they went back and Shane actually said he believed, like he thought that he had real demon activity there and real paranormal stuff. It made him a believer.
It's funny that you explained that like that, because my buddy is the one that I started the paranormal group with, because I'm a skeptic and my wife has her abilities, per se, you want to call it, and believes in things. Now he believes in things and his wife was a skeptic. So we put ourselves together, started the group, and that's where we went. But like I said, I found another podcaster repeating Dago's thoughts and ideas. There could be well, it is what it is. So be it. No worries, Boone. But thank you for standing up for me. It's no problem. Anywho, but yeah, that house is what actually that house made me start to believe. Okay, because I saw and heard things that I could not explain logically, and that's what I've always done. Is I've always tried to debunk things and give a logical answer to it. Everything that happened in that house made no sense, and I still don't understand it. So I started to believe some things that I never have when I went there.
Can we get like people putting in the chat how much? Okay, so our stories are very similar. Italian skeptic. I don't know what your wife's ancestry is. I'm half Russian, half Irish.
She's half Russian, or not. I'm sorry. She's half Russian, half French. I'm sorry. I'm wrong again. Half Irish, half French. There we go.
Okay. Well, still half. Okay.
And I'm Italian and Slovak.
But, okay, y'all sound so much like us. Can somebody, like, just throw a 1 in the chat if that's your story, too? Like, that is crazy that we are that much spot on, like.
I mean, it happened. There's a lot of people out there that have those, these scenarios, but.
I guess, yeah, but I meant like the specifics and like the weirdo stuff, like to where you have something going on in the house and you're like, I don't know if I believe this. And then she's like, yeah, it's a real thing. She's thought it the whole time. And you're like, oh crap,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just thought it was really weird.
She's been used to it. It doesn't bother her. She just deals with it. And then there's me that's like looking around.
Well, that stuff doesn't bother me. I just meant like, I just thought it was weird that it was so specifically like parallel there. Like,
it's funny that you said that, Sunshine. There was a traumatic event that happened in the Bel Air house, and they said the woman that owns it now has proclaimed, I guess you could say, that she believes there is a portal there, a very dark portal per se. Because the things that have happened there, it's insane. Like I said, I'm not going to go into it tonight, but
we should.
Got over here. Someone's doing something shady, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it didn't happen in here, Fupa. No worries, hon. You're clear and free in here, so it's whatever. And you know that I won't allow it to happen. So
email me who it is. I'll beat them up.
If something does, I'll fix whatever. So don't worry about it. But guys, what I wanted to know though is, what do you guys think of tonight, the story tonight? I mean, but to go back onto the other side of things, minus the paranormal, and it's okay, minus the paranormal side of it, the crime side of it, what do you guys think of this story? Again, like I said, most of you probably knew the story, but do you think that, it was what he says it was or what law enforcement thinks it is?
Well, you're our fearless leader. You go first.
I mean, I think, let me see. My thoughts on this story per se is I think that the guy was on some form of drugs, which he was.
Proven.
We know that he was using heroin, he was using LSD at times, he was doing this, he was doing that, and we know that LSD is a mind-altering drug and will cause. Now, again, let's go back to something that we have to understand. On the 13th of November, Ronnie DeFeo got up, got dressed, and went to work at his family's car dealership and did not look around the house. This is based on what he said. Didn't look around the house, didn't talk to anybody. That's what he did. He went to work and worked an 8-hour shift, blended in or mingled with people he worked with and talked. And then he went out for a little bit afterwards with a few people from the dealership. And then he went home. Okay. And
You picked this one on purpose.
all day long, he was wondering where his father was that worked at the dealership with him. He even called. Nobody answered. And all day long, he was talking to the people at the dealership. I wonder where Dad's at. Why is Dad not here? Has anybody heard from Dad? This is weird. Dad's always here. Blah, 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 blah. Comes home, finds what he finds. He runs back to the bar that he usually goes to and said, hey, which was very close to the house, and says, hey, I think somebody broke into my house and my whole family's dead. Okay. And they went back to the house with him from the bar. Then they called the police. And then he was arrested when he told them he thought it was this mafia hitman. Okay.
Well, at least he didn't hand the phone to a friend.
The thing that bugs me about this, right? Well, yeah. The thing that bugs me about this is that I don't know if I want to believe his story or if I don't want to believe his story about him getting up, going to work, not knowing, because drugs can do that to you. LSD back in the day, it did that. Heroin can do that to people where you lose your whole day. You don't know what the hell happened. Okay. Or, he did remember it and he just said that to try to get out of it. I don't know which way to go on this. I never have. That's what my issue. That's why I'm asking everybody's opinion in this.
You know what? I could see that. I had somebody spike something of mine, and I saw cartoons for 2 days. Everything in my life was a cartoon, and I started thinking that
that's awesome.
It was like no, it was terrifying. It was like, to me, one, I was not compliant or consenting. I had no idea. And then it was like, oh, well, you didn't tell me she's got like a mental thing and she doesn't do drugs. Shoot.
Drugs will
And
do that to anybody, right? Whether you have mental things or not, but that just makes it worse.
I started thinking that everything was a matrix and my wire in the back of my head had gotten loose. And that's why I was seeing cartoons. Like, it was like, please stand by type stuff, like from the 50s. Weird.
What did you take?
Well, it's legal in the state of Missouri right now, but that was the second time I'd ever smoked weed in my life at 26. And they had put PCP in it.
Okay, I was gonna say it couldn't have just been weed. I got you. And that happens.
No, every other time I've smoked weed, being autistic, it's made me go fully catatonic. So we're not friends. We don't hang out. But even though it's legal, that's not a thing that I can do. But that time it was 2 days of cartoons and me questioning what is real in life. And
PCP.
I could see that. If you're doing something like that, I could totally see you questioning reality and like.
And that's where I'm at with it. And like Jules just said, there's some truth to everything. There has to be. I feel strongly about that, Jules, too, that there's some sort of truth a little bit to everything that people talk about or say. But whether it be PCP, LSD, which is, different forms of acid or whatnot in the 70s were very popular, that can in turn, I did what I did when I was younger, and lots of people I know did. I was in the band scene, so I was around a lot of different things. And you know, people have bad trips. You know, I've watched people's faces melt off their heads. I've seen things like that. You know, it is what it is. But
I can handle that. No, no, no.
something that traumatic, you know, your entire family. Now, here's my issue with this too. Everyone, there were 6 people murdered that night. Okay, his entire family, and I find it hard to believe anybody of any form of that has any form of sanity with the 3 young ones could do that to the little ones. Okay, each body was upside down, face down, positioned in a certain way that I could not imagine him doing. Okay, and then turning around and doing that, and it looks almost like when you see the pictures, which I'm not going to show, they're very graphic. I'm sure you guys have seen them though. I mean, especially with the kids, that bothered me. But I'm just saying, to be face down with their arms a certain way, I can't picture him being on something and doing something like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm struggling with this at. And it's always.
Do you think he had an accomplice?
Absolutely, I do. And they do too, but they cannot prove it.
Who do you think it was?
I don't know. That's the problem. I don't think it was the sister, as he said. I think that he had buddies that he was friends with, and again, the father was very abusive. But I could see him going after the father because he started to get pretty violent with his father as he got older. I cannot see him going after his mother that he was very close to, who took his side on a lot of things, or his younger siblings. His younger siblings is what I have issues with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What? 1 dead, 3 injured chicken. It was a huge moment. Oh my God. Another one. I'm not doing this. I'm not going into it tonight. Every time I do this, I end up doing a mass shooting, guys. It's sad.
This world. Do you want to know what I think?
Thank you for the info, Jules. I appreciate that, hon.
On the DeFeos?
Absolutely. Let me know. I want to know what everybody thinks.
I tend to jump in the same boat as you with it not being a solo act. I think he very much planned it out with his sister. I think that was the plan all along. I think maybe she kept the little ones quiet in their beds. Most kids, I follow what Ken Main said about it. Most kids don't get out of their beds during something traumatic like that. They're scared. And they're in that mindset of, I know mom and dad will come in, let me know if everything's okay, or they'll come and get me if something's bad and I need to leave. I think the plan was concocted between the 2 of them because he hated his mother. She defended his father. She allowed his father to abuse him. She covered up in public. She denied the fact that she was abused as well, or that any of the kids were. He had a lot of pent-up anger towards her. I don't think he really had an issue with his younger siblings.
You're talking about Ronnie with his mother?
Yes.
Oh, okay. See, I heard differently, but that's okay. That's good to know then. Okay.
She put on a good front in public, but that was because she was terrified of her husband as well, trying to put on a brave face.
Right.
I
put up a poll real quick, guys, for you to know. And all it says was, did Ronnie DeFeo act alone? So there's a poll up for that. I'd love to see your answers. Go ahead, Nikki. I'm sorry.
Me too. That's okay. I think, and his sister had asked to move out several times. She had an older boyfriend. Yeah. I think there was a lot of resentment there towards both parents from her as well as from Ronnie. I think the plan was, this is going to happen. I think that something went wrong. I think maybe Dawn had no problem talking about it, planning it, but I think once it happened, it was a, oh my God, what happened? And I helped. I didn't do anything to protect them. I contributed. I think it was one of those like knee jerk, like, oh, reactions. And, I think he looked at her and he was like, I can't trust you. You're a liability. You're going to rat me out. And you feel so terrible about this instantly. Who's to say you're not going to roll over on me and say that I made you do this too, or I made you compliant? and I'm going to take the fall for everything. So he took her out, and he thought, well, let's start thinking of a good story.
Right. Hold on one second. Jules, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I appreciate it, as I always do. As I always do. It's always a pleasure. I hope you have a great rest of your night, guys. If you have not yet checked out Jules's channel, please do.
Yes, yes.
Trades, True Crime. It's an awesome channel over there, guys. She's really good at what she does. Check her out, folks. Jules, have a great night again, hon. Thanks so much for joining us, and I will see you soon, my dear. Welcome back, Morty. Good to see you, hon. Now go ahead. I'm sorry, Nikki. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, that's fine. That was pretty much it. It was that they planned it together, and then she probably freaked out. I mean, think about emotions, hormones, and the roller coaster ebb and flow of teenage female emotions. It was probably a, oh my God, what is this? And then like picturing it is a little bit different than actually seeing everybody.
She was abused as well by their father.
Yeah.
And that does lead into the point that it could have been planned together. Now don't forget the part where I explained to you guys that and it was even in the movie at one point, that there was some sort of an incestual relationship, very possibly between Dawn and Ronnie too. For whatever reason, that could have played a part in this whole scenario too. Okay, so I can
hate
see
thinking that, but I could see it because the wounds were different between the genders of the victims.
Well, they were gunshot wounds. That's all they were.
They were females got it in the torso and the abdomen.
Oh,
the guys got it in the head. Yeah. That makes me wonder if it was her pulling the trigger on the men that had been abusing her, and him pulling the trigger on everybody else that was a witness and going to, you know what I mean?
I do. I understand completely. It makes
like
sense.
Same weapon, different person pulling the trigger. I don't know. But typically, if you're gonna 86 a ton of people, which I don't know why anybody would. Obviously, they're not really a person; they're just a monster. But typically, when that does happen, it's obviously the same weapon, but it's also typically the same wound for every victim. They don't like to change that up.
They're going to shoot you in the same place. Yeah, I got you.
Right. Unless they do it in the abdomen first, and then they realize that takes a while.
Thank you, Heather.
Aim higher. Yeah.
Right. No, I understand. I get it. I mean, there is a grand possibility, that happened that way. There's also a grand possibility that there was somebody else completely different involved other than Dawn.
Oh, Augustus or
right.
August
It could go, or it could have been all three of them. Okay.
Could have been.
But either way, it was. I don't believe that there was anything paranormal behind it. I think that that was an excuse that his attorney probably found when they realized the person that he was and the things we talked about, tried to use that for his defense. Because
hell, maybe they just saw a side picture of the house.
Well, he said at one point that the house told him to kill everyone. So, okay. You know what I mean?
Not the defense attorney. Like, maybe he just saw a picture of the house and he was like, this place is freaking creepy. Let's say it's haunted. People will buy that.
That's very possible as well. Very much so. So, I can absolutely agree. And this time I'm not going to forget the poll. We got so wrapped up in what happened the other night that I completely forgot about the poll. Mrs. M, I did see you ask that question. I'm sorry. By the time I went back, I had already ended it and it ruined it. So,
hi, Mrs. M.
Let's try this one and see what this one is at this point. Thanks for jumping in, Morty. It's good to see you, hon. And I have 63% of you guys said yes, he did act alone, and 36% said no. That's okay.
There's a mutiny in our ranks.
I get it. That's why I do these polls. I like that. Now, I'm going to give you one more. Thank you, Miss Morty. Thank you. With the super sticker, the first super sticker of the evening. Thank you, my dear. Very much appreciated. 1 second, please. Hold on 1 second, guys. I got to set something up real quick. I didn't expect that. So 1 moment.
You're fine.
I'm going to do another one, though, about something else here in a second. I think I already said that, Heather, but thank you so much for that, guys. If anybody's interested in donating to the channel or to me, there is PayPal, Cash App, and the Venmo apps. Please feel free. It is very much appreciated. Very much so. Here we go. Again, thank you so much, Morty, for that. I do appreciate. Oh shit! Again, thank you, Morty. I do appreciate you very much for that.
Thank you.
Awesome. There you go. Thank you, my dear Morticia. By the way, guys, Morty hasn't been in here in a while. She's a very, very good friend of mine, like a sister to me. She helped me start my channel and progress my channel when I was still a drama channel. So she's very important to me. She hangs around just like Popper and Rachel and Heather. They're the original crew. Everybody be very respectable to Miss Morticia, please. She's very important to me and a very close friend of mine. She's a very, very sweet person.
Love the name.
As long as you don't make her mad. When you make her mad, just go the other direction and don't talk about it. That's all I can say. Morty's great. She's actually Native American.
Respect.
Very much so. Very much so.
We're practically next door neighbors, so okay.
Yeah, well, she's down in the depths of hell in Texas, so.
Ooh.
Yes, and I love you too, my dear. You know that. Always will, always have.
I love her name. I love Morticia.
Yeah, her name is very, very, very cool. Yeah. By the way, Morty, I didn't know if you knew that or not, but Fupa is actually sassy Italian. So, and I had wondered where she went.
Is that picture that just was up? Is that Morticia?
I think, yeah, she did a little bit of doctoring to it, but that's pretty much, oh, no, that one's not her. No, but she looks pretty much just like that.
Oh, then she's gorgeous because, whoa, baby.
It's her face
Whoa.
with the other stuff around her. Yeah, she's a very, very pretty lady. Very pretty lady.
Oh, no, it's graphics added, not like a different face.
Right. That's her face, and then everything else around it, she put her face into it. So, yeah. She's good with that stuff.
Okay.
Very good.
I'm married, so, you know.
What was that? Jeff said.
She's beautiful, though. She's very, very beautiful.
Oh, yeah, she is. Inside and out. Morty's a great person.
Love that.
Jeff wants to know, where'd you get your filter that makes you look like a cuddly lion?
Me?
I don't think she's using a filter, bro.
Nope. There's no filter in the live stream app, unfortunately, because I feel like I'm on the break of like wrinkles and like blackheads and stuff. So sorry if you see that.
No, don't worry about it. You're fine. You're absolutely fine.
I feel like it picked up everything. Like it's showing like the split ends, all of it. It's like,
listen, guys, we are who we are, and that's it. Doesn't matter. Like I said, it's not a fashion show. We're not here to impress anybody. We're a family, and we got each other's backs. That's all that matters. So
that's true. I love that too. I love that so much that it's not about drama. It's not about a clique. It's not about like certain people are more than other people. That it's not like certain people get respect for their ideas and other people just get shot down.
I keep everything. I've always kept everything an even keel for a reason. And Morty knows this more than anybody. Her and Heather and Brandy and Cece. I've always kept this channel like that for a reason. That was the entire goal to this channel, which, you know, it was something that I had to fight to keep. You have to go through and weed out the good, the bad, this, that, and everything else. But either way, you know, it is what it is. So,
well, I'm not knocking you in any way, but I do want to say y'all did. And I said y'all, not you-haul. Y'all did, meaning you, the mods. I mean,
Oh
You
yeah,
have
I have.
such an amazing support system, and
I
you,
do.
you do the leadership thing where it's everybody's inclusive. Nobody gets made fun of. Nobody gets persecuted. Nobody gets ostracized just because of
And they
who they
never.
are or what their beliefs are. I love that.
They never will. They never. And that was the whole basis to my channel. You know, in the beginning it was rough because I was a drama channel, you know, and there was a lot of drama going on. The prank phone calls that I got tonight, the trolls you see every now and then, that was times 100, folks. It was bad, you know. But I had people like Morticia and Popper and Rachel and Pookie and Bowza and Heather and there's Miss Gina. Welcome, my dear. And they're still, as you can see, Morticia pops in to say hi and this and that. They still support me 100%, and I do with them whenever they need that. And that's just the way it is. That's what makes the channel successful, in my opinion, because we have, you know, all the trolls and all the naysayers, whatever, have said from the day that I started this channel that, oh, it'll fall apart. Nobody cares about you, Dago, and you don't care about them, and they're just using you for. I mean, it was all that kind of stuff, and here we are, over a year later. By the way, Morty, February 7th was my 1 year being live, my dear. So I made it a year, and here she is again. You know, regardless of what I'm ever going to be doing, okay. We talked about this. I talked about this with Morticia the other night. When the shit hits the fan, I'll be standing there right alongside of them, as I always have been, as they've always been with me, because that's the people that we are. That's what this channel is based upon. That's what I am based upon. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I've always wanted for YouTube. My part of YouTube, I should say. And Morticia goes off and does her thing for a while. We don't see or hear from her for a while, but she will always come back in. She always supports who she can, and that's why we're a family, folks, period. So, you know, all them saying that we're gonna fail, we'll fall apart, we'll never stick together. It's been a year, folks, and here we are. So it is what it is.
Also, it doesn't hurt having the hottest smoke shows for moderators on the interwebs. Just gonna throw that out.
We have oh, Gina, yeah, I remember that too, Gina. Yeah, in the beginning I didn't show my face for the longest time. Which
And Faux Popper did confirm that he does look great in a dress. Oh, you're choppy.
Oh, yeah,
there you go.
Internet's doing its thing again. Now, one more. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can.
Okay, now what'd you say?
I said, and Faux Popper did confirm that he does look great in a dress.
He probably does. I'm sure he does. Absolutely.
He wouldn't tell me if it was a strapless or a cap sleeve, but I can imagine it's got the Princess Diana sleeves.
Yeah, he wouldn't lie. Popper probably does look great in a dress. He looks great without a dress. So yeah.
Whoa. I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm gonna pick this back up one more time then instead of the Diet Coke.
Yeah, and it was Cece's right. It was just me and him for the longest time, and then Morty came over one night, and then Rachel, and it kept on going. So yeah, and here we go again. Morty, what are you doing, hon? Thank you, my dear, one more time.
No, I'm not kind. I'm just honest.
Well, these are facts. Get on and I'll be. Morticia told me not to do that dance, Brandy. She told me she didn't want me to because she was worried about other things, but I'm still going to do it. I promised you guys that I am. It's going to happen. I just have to be
like every time I see her profile picture, I'm just like, right to it. That is everything Evanescence tried to be. Like, Evanescence is a great value Morticia.
And who, Amy Lee?
Yeah. She's great value Morticia.
Yeah, I guess you could say it like that. Yeah, I'm not worried.
I'm gonna say it out loud.
She's worried they're gonna tease me. I don't care more. From what I've been through, you know what we've been through already. They're teasing. I don't care. It's a joke. It's a joke. I have no fear, no worries. I never have, never will. It is what it is. So, I hope everybody was into this tonight. I thought it was a good story to
I
get
loved
out
it.
there. Now, at this point, this is the time where I need you guys to, and we're going to do this, fulfill this whole thing tonight. We're going to choose for Friday night, which one you guys would like to do. And I got, ouch. Trying to think of what I had written down. Drop it in a thong. Yeah, I ain't doing no thongs. I told you back when that was talked about, Morty, that there ain't gonna be no thong. That ain't gonna happen. Sorry, dear.
Do the thong.
I want to keep you guys here. I don't want you guys to run away.
Caden, doesn't he owe us a milkshake dance? Did he mute me? Did he mute me? Oh my gosh.
He muted me.
Hold on. Say hi and go. He's supposed to be in bed.
Sleep is not a emotion.
Oh, sweetie, I said your dad owes us a milkshake dance.
Oh, he does. He owes
heard,
you big time.
and they know, and he knows.
But good night, little guy.
Good night, guys.
Little guy.
Have sweet meatball dreams.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So I'm gonna put it back out there for the coming
Friday, next time.
I'm all in my head for a minute. Sorry.
I got you, bud.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the one that was from the last time, which was The Conjuring, and I'm gonna. I said something about it the other day, and I backed out of it, but then I'm gonna put it back out there because it is a real story. And it at one point it was based on what they thought was crime. So we're gonna go with The Conjuring and The Entity. Okay. Both of these
The
are based
entity or the identity?
No, The Entity.
The
These
Entity.
are both based on true stories, and I don't know what you guys know about. I know you guys know what The Conjuring is. Okay, The Entity. I don't know what you guys know about that one. If you want me to explain it, I'll explain it slightly. Oh, okay. Everybody said goodnight to little Caden. That's bigger than me. So we're going to do a poll on each one of these real quick, and I'm just going to put in the name of it, and you say yes or no, and then we'll make it easier. That way I don't forget about it. So the first one
Don't
I'm
feel
putting...
bad. My 13-year-old's bigger than me.
Yeah, well, I didn't think he was going to be that tall, but he is. The first one is for The Conjuring, folks. Yes or no? Let me know, and then we will talk about the other one. And I got so many more. I know that, Morty. We had talked about that before. I actually have him on Facebook now. The link was sent to me by somebody, and he accepted it, so it's cool.
Can I make a recommendation for maybe Mondays?
Actually,
vote?
what I want you guys to do, including you, is give me some ideas of movies that you know of, and I'm going to find out to make sure that they are based on, true stories, and most of them are based on crime. So,
got one.
And I'm going to write them down, and I'm going to look them up, and then I will give you guys the heads up on yes or no with it. So go ahead.
Top of the list, Clove Hitch Killer is the most accurate portrayal of BTK's life.
Clove Hitch Killer?
Yes, it's called The Clove Hitch Killer, and it's got Dylan McDermott, and it is the most accurate portrayal of BTK's run with things.
Okay.
But they named it that because of the knot that BTK always tied with his victims, the Clove Hitch knot. Yeah.
Right.
It's spot on. It's a movie I never get tired of watching. So if they're afraid, like, oh, well, I don't want to just watch a gory movie and have that soak up my whole TV time. That one is so good. The story is riveting and suspenseful, but there's a little bit of gore, but not a whole lot, but it's really accurate.
It's all good. Morticia, Thank you very much for the super chats, my dear. I love you so very much. You be safe, you stay healthy, and I hope to see you soon. You have a
How
wonderful.
am I just meeting her?
Well, like I said, she's been off doing her thing for a while. But thank you so much for stopping in, my dear. I miss you, love you, and I hope to see you again soon. Stay safe, and I will talk to you soon, my dear.
Come by more often.
She will. She will. Now we're gonna be doing these movies, folks. A lot of the the Zodiac, all of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is based on Ed Gein loosely, and a couple other things.
What about Psycho?
Yes, that's another. Actually, it's funny that you said that. Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Psycho are both loosely based on Ed Gein. So, okay. And then John Wayne Gacy, there's a story that's based off of too. There's a lot of them, folks. A whole lot of them. David James, what's up, brother?
The heebie-jeebies. I don't like it. I mean, I've got a picture of him right behind me, but
who?
Just in my wall.
Who am I looking at? Oh,
the bottom one.
Charlie. Yeah, I see.
It says "Live, Laugh, Love," and it's got Dahmer, John Wayne Gacy, and Ted Bundy. I made it myself.
Okay, got you. Yeah, we're gonna be doing Dahmer's story too, because again, welcome back, Molly. I'm glad. I hope you were safe. But anyway, Dahmer was born and raised 15 minutes from where I live, folks. And then he moved off over to where Miss Rachel lives, in Wisconsin. So we're going to be covering that one. I know a lot about him in his younger years. So that's another one. There's a lot, guys. And it's just going to go on. And like I said, when we get to the point where we can't do any more of those, I may keep the evening things going, of course, and roll into more of a paranormal backstage for that in some senses. So we'll see what happens.
Ohio is kind of like right in the middle of like every murder thing like ever, right?
What did you say, hon?
I said like Ohio is kind of in the middle of like every murder thing ever.
If you watched any of these shows on the ID channel, I couldn't believe this. Unsolved Mysteries, ID channel, TLC, whatever the hell these shows are. 1 out of every 3 shows Ohio is in.
Or you're right next to it.
It's around us. I don't know why. Maybe because Ohio is so boring that nobody has anything else to do around here and they're so miserable. So it turns into that, you know what I'm saying? But it maybe it's the air, maybe it's the water. I don't know. But there's a lot of crazy shit that goes on in Ohio, folks. So
you guys had the Cleveland torso murders. Oh gosh, I'm blanking now.
Oh shit, we had the 2 girls, or I'm sorry, there was 1, 2, 3, 4 girls.
The Ariel Ramirez,
Castro,
I think.
Ariel Castro.
Ariel Castro, yes, that's what it was.
He had kidnapped them and kept them in his basement for 20 years, folks.
And then there was the one guy who killed all the prostitutes. I forget what his name was.
He went through Ohio. He was a truck driver.
Yeah.
At the truck stops. There's one of those truck stops is 10 minutes from me.
Man.
I mean, it's all around. And I've seen a lot of this stuff being a, firefighter or medic and been involved in situations that involved these types of killings. And I've been on these scenes and seen this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We had a couple cult killings. When I first got into EMS, I worked for a private ambulance service. It was just like, it wasn't run by the city or the fire department. They were just a private ambulance company. And that's all they did was run ambulance. Okay. I went into a house one time and there was 3 people dead. Henry, we're going to do Henry too, Fupa. That's a good one. And there was 3 people in that house that were deceased. And there were pentagrams all over the walls, all over the ceiling, all over the floors, all over their bodies. They were carved into their bodies. In the basement, they found 17 or 18 dead animals that were skinned and carved. I mean, it was insane. I was freaked out. I had nightmares, I'll be honest with you.
See, as somebody who practices voodoo, I'm going to say that's a failure as a human being and as whatever satanic bull crap that they heard in like the public school bathroom, because a pentagram's not used for that.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm just,
like that was a failure on all fronts by them.
Your husband just said he has friends from Montpelier.
Montpelier, yeah.
I've heard of that. I've never been there, but I've heard of it.
Where's that? Vermont?
Northwest.
No, it's in Ohio. It's
okay.
I think it's up past Cleveland.
Right on the border.
But it's also the capital of New Hampshire or Vermont, right?
Montpelier?
Yeah. It's the state capital of one of the two of those.
Molly said no, it's not. I don't know what the hell is the capital of Vermont. Hold on. Let's do it this way. I feel old and dumb. I forgot more than I remember nowadays from school, folks. There's another movie that had me shook. Oh, Seed. I forgot.
Missouri. I mean, I think Missouri, we have like joint custody of BTK because he was in Kansas City, but
the capital of Vermont,
which is in Missouri, as weird as that is.
You're gonna tell
but
me?
But then he moved to Wichita, so.
Oh, hold on one
we
moment.
Have joint custody of him. Yeah, you're fine.
What is the capital of Vermont? Answer me.
Montpelier is the capital of Vermont.
Oh, yeah, it is.
I was right. Autism for the win.
I thought that was something completely different. That's surprising. Can you see it? Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, Asperger's.
I'll be damned. Okay. David said, no, I wasn't saying.
See my giant t-shirt.
Okay. I got you, Molly. What were you talking about, hon? I misunderstood. Before you're done tonight, could you give us an update on the train derailment and your opinion on the chemicals in the air? They're calling it a Chernobyl. Well, yeah, it's not as bad as Chernobyl. Let me see if I can give you guys the update on it.
There's a whole ass episode of I Survived based on the same thing that you're going through. And then I'm going to be quiet. That's all I got to say. And that's why I've been worried.
Okay. Now, hold on. All right. Now say that again. There's a whole episode of what?
There's a whole ass episode of I Survived based on a chlorine train accident. And that is why I've been worried about you. And I'm sure that's why everybody else has too. And it's terrifying. So that's all I got to say about that.
No, it is. I'm more worried about the first responders that responded to that and the people in the town. Because it's not as much in the air. Most of what was in the air has dissipated, but they did find that there was 5 tanker cars. The main one that they actually blew up on purpose is the one that was carrying the sodium chloride in it. Okay. Give me 1 second to bring this up for you guys. And the other 4 had other shit in them that they shouldn't have. And they didn't have it placard. It wasn't plaqued out right. And they should have. They tried to say that there's a train company said that the stuff they were carrying was not dangerous enough to report it to the local towns that they were going through. Well, that's wrong. That's wrong. They did not know what they were carrying is the problem. And 1 second, folks.
Okay.
And so now there's a mixture of chemicals that are in the ground. Damn it, 1 second.
The groundwater that they purify with chlorine, which has now an excess of chlorine.
It's not just that. There's a bunch of other, as I said, other chemicals. I'm trying to bring this up and my computer's not responding to me correctly. Okay, this is the most recent thing, and I'll see if I can get it to show you guys what's going on with this.
Growing concerns continue after a train.
This was 9 hours ago that this was put out, okay? I don't know.
I tell you what.
I've been a little bit nervous because my wife, or not my wife, my son and I both have had sore throats for a couple of days. So, but we both had sinus infections.
Okay, 1 second. I will be silent this whole clip. If you promise you will watch the I Survived episode where they have the chlorine train thing, so you know how serious this is and when to GTFO.
I know how serious it is. I was on the hazmat team for Trumbull County at one point, so I know all about that, and that's why I've been nervous about it. But I'm gonna watch it anyway now that you brought that up. So
you're my bro. I worry.
Well, I appreciate it. But here we go, folks.
Ohio caused people to fall ill and thousands of fish to die. Ashley McCollum, who shot this video of the February 3rd accident, was afraid to move back home. Conservation leaders report nearly 8 miles of the Ohio River is contaminated. While the EPA declared it was safe to return home, Ohio's governor said Tuesday he is leery of the drinking water.
I think that I would be drinking the bottled water, and I would be continuing to find out what the tests were showing as far as the air.
Ohio Governor Mike DeWine says he was told the train was not considered a highly hazardous. The railroad was not required to notify state officials.
Now, this is what's been confirmed. 1 second.
We know there's a lot of information coming out about the environmental impact of that train.
Now, mind you, what they just said is what they were told to say. They said over 1,000 fish. It's like 10,000 fish. And remember what I said about you guys, or what I said the other day, you guys, about the circle of life, the food chain, this, that, and everything else. There's deer, rabbits, possums, raccoons, squirrels, bears, all of this that drink out of that damn river, okay? The Ohio River flows into the Mississippi River. The Mississippi River flows into it just keeps going. So eventually it's going to end up down south with the people down there too. And it's in the ground is completely, the ground is what is like Chernobyl in East Palestine right now, okay? But here's the 1 second. This is the what's been, like I said, what they have actually said is a real deal.
So Casey Decker with our National Verified team is breaking down what we know about the crash and what's still unconfirmed rumors.
When big news breaks, it's easy to get lost in a flood of updates, especially true of developing stories like the one playing out right now in East Palestine, Ohio, where a train derailed, resulting in these dramatic images. So Verify is here to help you separate fact from fiction with the help of our sources. First, here are some basics we can confirm are true. We know that some of the train cars were carrying hazardous chemicals, including vinyl chloride. Vinyl chloride can be harmful to your health. Short-term exposure can cause dizziness. Long-term exposure can cause liver, right? Know that no people died in the crash, but as a result of the chemical spill, thousands of people had to temporarily evacuate their homes. State and federal officials have said it's now safe for them to return, but the impact on the air and water quality is still being measured.
And that's what I have a problem with, is they told these people within a 5-mile radius of this, you can go home. Most of these people were smart enough to say, okay, they went home, they grabbed their clothes or whatever they needed, their important shit, and they left again. Most of them did. There's people that have no choice, but this is what's bothering me and about this, because they should not, they gaslit all these people into believing that it was okay to go home when they know it's not. But if they don't do that, it's going to cause widespread panic. In turn, we're still going to have these problems. So,
but that's what they tried doing the first time.
Online.
What's that?
That's what they tried doing the first time, and that didn't work because people ended up just stranded in their homes. Where EMT and the one guy that the episode of I Survived was about tried hiring a private rescue helicopter force to retrieve him and his wife, and they couldn't even get to it. Like, just telling everybody to shut up and stay put didn't work last time. why.
Hold on. You just went very high pitched for whatever. I don't know if your mic or your speaker, something happened, but your voice.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Your voice just like you sounded like a little kid for a second. Hold on. Go ahead and say something.
I said they tried that the first time though with that episode of I Survived with the chlorine train thing. That's exactly what they told them to do. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Rescue, resources will be available soon. EMTs are on the way. Just stay in shelter, keep everything shut up, and we'll get right to you. Just don't try to contact anybody. Just stay put. And pretty much everybody dropped dead. And the guy tried hiring a private security rescue helicopter thing to come get him, and they couldn't even get to him. And then at one point they told him he needed to take a shower to wash the chlorine off before EMTs got there, which is the worst thing you can do with chlorine. It didn't work last time. What did they think is going to work this time? That's why people are freaking out and leaving.
Yeah, well, that's Heather said they're arresting journalists at the scene. Blah blah blah. They don't.
They did that last time too.
Right. Well, I agree, but let me show you guys the rest of this here.
I'll be quiet.
We can verify that at least 3,500 fish in nearby streams were killed. At least one woman has told local media her chickens died. She believes related to the crash. However, the Ohio Department of Agriculture says they've received no official reports of livestock deaths. So right now, this is unconfirmed. Another viral tweet claims that chemicals moved beyond nearby streams and into the Ohio River, potentially affecting millions of people's drinking water. This claim needs context. Local water agencies along the river have detected small amounts of chemicals associated with the spill, but say so far they're nowhere close to unsafe levels, although they'll continue doing raking tests. There have also been several claims about the train company, Norfolk Southern. One viral tweet claimed the train was deliberately misclassified as non-hazardous to avoid regulation.
As I just said to you, they misclassified it to be able to go through that region, which is illegal as hell. There's already lawsuits pending. We have attorneys coming from California, Texas, big time attorneys that are coming here to handle these cases again. This company's done, and nobody's going to get this money because they're not going to have enough after all of this. So it's kind of relentless. It's just going to be the principle of the fact. So, yeah.
Investigations are ongoing, so there's no hard evidence disproving this rumor, but there's also no evidence for it. The poster didn't provide any source supporting his claim, and no official source backs it up. So for now, this remains unconfirmed. Other viral posts say Norfolk Southern made a donation to East Palestine to aid in the recovery. It's just $25,000, a tiny amount for a multi-billion-dollar company. It's true that Norfolk Southern made a donation in that amount to local recovery efforts, and that company is billions. But that donation isn't expensive. The company says it's offering $1,000 to anyone who was forced to evacuate. So some people have reported difficulty getting that money. Norfolk donated about
$1,000. They're going to give these people $1,000 who are going to end up with cancer of some sort. They can't go back to their home. They've been out of their home for over, almost 2 weeks now. Like, what? What are you going to do with $1,000?
It's $1,000.
Yeah, I'd wipe my ass with that and hand it back to them because that's all that you can get for. You're not going to get anything. Okay, that's bullshit. I'm sorry. That's a slap in the face as far as I'm concerned. That's all that is.
It's something to the face.
They are forcing people to stay. They're forcing people who stay to sign contracts, releasing them from liability. It's a joke. Anyone near there should follow their instincts with this and not trust what they're being told. We're seeing the effects already. There's going to be bad long-term effects. And luckily, I'm far enough away. It does not affect my groundwater. My groundwater comes from a well that's on my property that's not linked to any other property, any rivers, lakes, or anything. And I don't even drink that water, folks. My water is brought in. It's spring water that's bottled in a whole different area, and it's brought in and shipped to me every week or every 2 weeks. So
but you're seeing the water treatment plants not taking care of the chlorine overdose with more chlorine that doesn't clean out the.
No, what they usually treat the water from that comes out of the one river, they usually treat it with chlorine. So what I'm saying
that's what I was saying.
Yeah, if there's chlorine in that water, how do you get it out? How do you get that much of it out? How do you remove the chlorine from the water that's already in there? And if
Well, it's like multiplication. You've got a negative times a negative. That makes it positive, right?
It's different in that sense, but you're kind of right. Yeah, thank you.
Just being a smart ass.
As of right now, I'm okay. You know, we're okay here, but I'm still worried slightly about the air quality because it does travel.
For new equipment.
Yeah.
Finally, you may have claims like these that say reporters covering the story are getting arrested, silenced for asking too many questions. Those mean nothing. And verify that one journalist was arrested on February 8th while covering a press conference held by the governor of Ohio.
Look at this.
He was accused of causing a disruption, which both the reporter and the governor dispute. But no party argues the arrest was because he was asking too many questions. So far, there's no.
And I watched that. He didn't disrupt anything. He asked an extra question that wasn't answered. He had asked a question to the governor, and the governor, it was a two-part question, okay? It was something like about the toxicity level in the air, and then why this. The governor answered the first part of it and ignored the second part, and the guy said, can you please answer the second part? And they jumped him and drug him out of there, and that's what you guys just saw. It was insane. This is ridiculous.
No evidence journalists have been arrested or intimidated because the content of their reporting, and this incident appears isolated.
I'm not going to say it. I see that. I'm not going to say it.
And I want to bring in James. He is an associate professor at the University of Pittsburgh. Thank you for us this morning. Evan was there covering this story because it is important. People are concerned about their own health following this situation. What more can you tell us about the specific chemicals involved in this derailment and the long-term implications it could pose to the people in East Palestine?
Sure. I mean, this is actually a situation that seems to evolve sort of on a day-by-day basis with new information sort of coming out. So in the early days after the derailment, the primary focus was on vinyl chloride, which has significant long-term chronic implications, and that's in part one of the reasons.
Can you guys see this? These fish, and what the numbers they're giving you guys on the dead fish is so low. Even at the 3,500, it's still so low. They're up in arrears of it. There's a couple people that have said 10 to 12,000 fish in the streams are done. They're floating. Okay. And the fish, they're not only dead, guys. Okay, hold on. I want you to look at something. Can you see that? That's under the ice, you guys. It's the river's frozen in that part right there, and it's even under the ice, into the water, under the ice. If you look at It's changed the I can't think what I'm trying to say. And it has changed the look of the fish, okay? So it's had a reaction, and it's other than killing them, it's causing weird reactions as well, is what I'm trying to say.
Because they're drinking a straight source. They're not getting any type of filtration, cleansing, anything like that. They're drinking it straight from the source. So they're getting the hardest.
Yeah, right. So are they supposed to pour a bunch of vitamin C and salt in the water? Well, that's the thing, Molly, is it's not just chlorine. There's another chemical base in there too. Yeah, the cockroaches probably will survive it. But anyway, moving this along. Sorry.
Which has significant long-term chronic implications, and that's in part one of the reasons, as well as the risk of an explosion, that a controlled burn was actually conducted to try to mitigate some of that. Now, obviously, some very toxic things could be produced in that burn, but the sort of short-term evacuation was a way to sort of mitigate that. However, more recently, we've kind of learned that there are sort of additional chemicals. Butyl acrylate is one of them, and there are others weren't necessarily talked about in those early days. It's not clear whether the Norfolk Southern did not tell the EPA, or whether the EPA was, not paying attention to them. I can't really tell, but I think we need to think about what the sort of mixture of chemicals that are in the ground now, potentially, or in the water, what the long-term implications of that might be.
So when you see dead fish in the water, People are reporting that their pets are ill. There was one family that had to put their cat down because of some liver issues. What are the health ramifications, the things that people should be looking for that concern you as you know more about vinyl chloride and
I
its
would
implications?
lose my shit.
Right. So I think it's so many animals, for example, are getting sick. I mean, we provide sort of a sentinel system that sort of one can use to monitor what might be going on in an environmental disaster like this. That leads us to why we use canaries in coal mines, who was essentially carbon monoxide or other toxic gases long before the miners would. But they served as an early warning system to the miners to be able to then do something about that. So there's a variety of reasons that animals would be more affected. They breathe more per unit time. They're smaller. Takes less amount of that chemical. They're closer to the ground. They're grooming themselves and licking contaminants that might be deposited on their skin, which humans don't necessarily do. But the fact is that those animals could actually be more sensitive to those toxins because they're receiving a slightly larger exposure. So I would pay very close attention to animals as well as what's happening with symptoms that are donated by the people who live there as well.
Well, I don't blame the folks who live in East Palestine for being concerned. They're going to be at a community meeting later tonight asking some of these important questions. But given what we're seeing and what you're saying, a lot of the dead fish, 3,500 dead fish in the water. Does the EPA know something? Am I missing something here?
I don't know if they know any. I mean, I'm sure they know some more than is being talked about. The dead fish to me is not as concerning as perhaps some other things. I mean, if you had a large chemical spill in the water, fish would largely be affected. They certainly live in that water 24 hours a day. What would be sort of more concerning is whether any of that chemical can get into well water. I mean, people are probably not drinking the water that's from that stream. So are the chemicals making their way through the ground into...
Did it clear up, Boone? Stupid internet.
They know exactly what is going on.
Years, sunshine. It's gonna. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Groundwater is being used as a source in wells.
Of course, they're like stronger than animals are.
Yeah. Things that people could add is to try to find, and it's a very broad question. In order to do this well, we have to measure the right things, in other words, the right chemicals that are known to be involved in this spill. We have to measure them in the right place. We have to measure them at the right time and in the right way.
News Nation will be at that meeting later tonight as they ask these very important questions as it pertains to their health. Professor James Babazek with the University of Pittsburgh School of Public Health. We appreciate you giving us some insight as we learn more about vinyl chloride and maybe more importantly, how hazardous materials are transported through so many of our communities via train. Thank you again. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.
You sure you're okay?
Okay. So that's what's going on with that, everybody. Like I said, the thing I worry about is when they did the controlled explosion on the one, they blew up all 5 cars, and there was multiple different chemicals in those cars, and the plume from the explosion has moved. Like I said, from what I understand, there's enough air mixture that it has dissipated to the point where it's not going to be affected. It's not going to affect anybody. But I don't know, you guys. I don't know what to believe or not to believe at this point. So I'm just praying and hoping that everything works out and that everybody's okay. Like I said, I'll be honest with you, is what I'm most, I mean, I don't, you guys didn't get the full effect of that explosion and the cloud that came off of that. It looked like Hiroshima. It was huge. Okay. Yeah. It was absolutely huge. I am at this point, I'm 48 minutes. And let me see something here. I'll give you an exact on it, guys. 1 second.
Just do us all a favor, and obviously you're going to watch out for your family, but keep an extra close eye on Mr. Ducky Dog. if he's already having breathing problems, I know everybody was losing their minds worried about him earlier, but
Yeah. We've
that's
been
gotta
watching.
be extra stress. Poor
Yeah, it's
guy.
about 45 minutes. It's 33.47 miles from me.
That's too close, bud.
Well, it's a little closer than I'd like to be, but there's nothing we can really do about it. So,
You come visit your southern family.
well, I mean, I got a lot going on here, folks. Otherwise, I would have just.
Yeah. No, I know you do. I was just trying to cut the tension. Sorry.
No, I got you. I appreciate it. So if they blew all 5, what was the point of a control? But well, that was the most dangerous one, they said. And then they found out that there were different chemicals in the other 4, which they're not as dangerous by themselves, but when they blend together like that, they're quite toxic. So
just like exacerbated the other one.
Exactly. Like I said, guys, we've had good weather. It hasn't rained. So I'll tell you what, Molly, I don't know. I think I'll take my chances here before I come to Idaho. Idaho is crazy. I'm trying to get you out of Idaho. Why would I come there?
Yeah, Molly, you need to go.
But I appreciate it, hon. I do. Yeah, I'm hoping that, like I said, with the air quality and the fact that it hasn't rained since it happened, like really at all, I think that's helping, and it's traveling now. So, like
New Jersey's problem.
Something like that. At that point, by the time it gets anywhere, it'll be nothing. If you guys see me go live one day and I got a hand sticking out my forehead, then just it's no big deal.
You start growing some wheels and flippers and shit.
Yeah. I can breathe underwater, guys. How about that one?
You have a literal third eye.
Yeah, there's my third eye. I found it, folks. It's right there.
No more yoga.
I have found my next level of consciousness. Yeah, I'm
It's
thinking
just gonna keep blowing east. But even Hamilton said everything's legal in New Jersey, so
that is what it is. I feel really bad. Yeah, dude, I would sleep in your office. It's like Trump Tower to me. It's a nice ass office. You guys should see his office. I think I got a picture somewhere. I'll have to show it to you. It's insane. It's
did you just make a Trump reference too?
Yeah, I did.
I just dropped one in chat. Like
I seen it.
I thought it was
what
great.
made me do it. It woke my mind up to that. But yeah, it's a mess. Springfield. It's basically yeah. And we're close to a nuke plant. Well, we used to be. I think it's shut down now. 4 Mile Island. We're pretty close to that too. If that ever blew, that would be a Chernobyl scenario. But I think they have that shut down. Son of a bitch.
You ever heard about Times Beach?
About what?
Times Beach, Missouri.
No. Hold on. I got distracted again. I got to check this.
Sorry. It's okay.
Mrs. M. If it wasn't for Mrs. M, I wouldn't remember anything.
That's all right. I love her.
So, on The Conjuring, folks. Plum Island.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
Let's see. Where did it go? So 73% of you said yes to The Conjuring, and 26 said no. And then now we're going to go with The Entity and see what that one rates, and we'll pick the winner out of those two. Thank you, Mrs. M. Very much appreciated. You guys distracted me. My ADHD took full effect. Anyway.
That's okay. JJ's doing like some weird geisha snuggie blanket dance in the corner over here, and
he's feeling himself. Go for it, brother. Find your inner
no,
whatever.
don't encourage that. He might actually start feeling on himself. Let's not.
I mean, hey. Whatever works. Whatever works. What's up, Red? How you doing tonight, bro?
Don't make me turn this camera around. I use your dad quote on you instead of "Don't make me turn this car around. Don't make me turn this camera around."
So we got 4 schools canceled. What are you trying to say there, Boone? 4 schools canceled? Oh, they definitely had schools canceled at one point, but I guess they said they could go back now. I don't believe that, but
I was just getting ready to say at least they did one thing right in that situation, and then you said that, and I was like,
I think they sent everybody back way too soon and said they'd go home way too soon. They needed, which I get it. A lot of people couldn't afford it, guys, and the train company is they're saying they're giving everybody $1,000 that was evacuated. Okay, well, have you guys stayed in a motel lately? Unless you're staying in some,
But guys, it's $1,000.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
If it was, you can't stay in a decent motel if you have a large family. $1,000 is going to cover you for a couple of days. You know what I'm saying? It's insane.
Yeah. Especially if you need more than 2 beds.
That's what I'm saying. If you have a large family, what the hell are you going to do? I know they have some that have adjoining rooms, but it's whatever. You got to also pay for
rooms.
You got to also pay for food. These people had to a lot of these people have to get rid of their clothing. They need new clothing. Some of these people are not going back to their homes. They've lost everything, their furniture, because they're saying that the vapors from this to people that were close to this, it regardless of the house was sealed or not, it gets in through cracks and whatever, and it's absorbed into their furniture, their floors, their walls. I mean, you can't get that out. You can call Servpro as much as you want. They're not going to fix that one. You know what I'm saying?
Well, as a mom, on top of that, your hotel's not going to have a kitchen. So you're going out to eat.
Some of them do, but they're
I mean,
you're going to pay $1,000 for that for one night for that is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. You might get a free breakfast, but
the Red Cross, I haven't seen the Red Cross, Heather. I haven't seen them involved in anything, which is surprising to me. And what I keep saying, what I'm really worried about are the first responders, the firefighters and paramedics and the police officers that were standing on top of this, fighting this fire. And they absorbed all that, folks. They've absorbed all of that. So there's going to be mass funerals within a short period of time. In some senses, they haven't talked about on the news the people that have gotten sick or passed from this already, but it's happening. Okay, I'm telling you, it's happening. And
correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't water turn the volume up on that?
Doesn't what?
Water, doesn't that turn the volume up on that?
Like speed up the process?
Yeah.
In some senses.
Like, you know what I mean? Amplify it?
Yeah.
So those first responders were working in those clothes saturated with it. Oh, sorry. You were cutting out. I didn't know you were. I'm sorry.
Mrs. Boone, definitely not Fupa. Hopefully, no, it's okay. Fupa, they're being sued by I don't know how many people right now. Nobody. It's never going to be anything that's going to happen because they don't have enough money to cover it. Okay, they're $1 billion company, and they're not going to. At this point, they need to hand over every dime that they have to the people of that town and surrounding towns that are within 5 miles of that town and say here and just walk away. That's what they need to do, but they're not doing that. Okay.
Or maybe not just set off controlled explosions in residential areas. Just a thought.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I understand this being a firefighter, working with hazmat, this, that, and everything else. If they would not have done the controlled explosion, if it would have exploded naturally, it would have been 14,000 times worse than what it was. So I give them that. It would have caused way, way, way worse issues with it, folks. So go have a medical exam. So if you'll have a baseline health record. Oh, yeah. I go to the doctor regularly, Boone, and I believe me, we will be checking things, so on and so forth. I already have lung issues. You guys know that, asthma, and I've had smoke inhalation when I was a firefighter, so my lungs are weak as it is, and things like that. So,
And not to sound like Nicolas Cage, but paper copies of everything, please.
yeah, of course, of course, of course. Yeah, you can't delete paper copies.
I know.
Well, I don't see Fupa. Here's the thing: is that because it was an independent company, the state, and they lied to the state. That's the problem with their placards. They lied to the state. In turn, the state is not responsible for it now. If they would have told the state and had the correct placards and they still traveled and this happened, then the state would have been responsible because they allowed it. That's the problem with this. Oh shit, David, you would ask me that. I just had it too. Something Southern is what they're called. Hold on a minute. You falling asleep on me?
No. Just it got my attention when you said something Southern. Is that oh no, that's a different thing. Never mind.
It's the name of the company. Give me 1 second. I'll give you the name real quick, folks. Yeah, it's been something that's on the back of my mind since it happened. I think it was CC. I didn't even know about it until CC messaged me, and I live in the damn state, folks, not far from it. And she asked me if I was okay, or was it CC? Or was it Boone? Or maybe it was both of you guys that had asked if I was okay, something like that. But yeah, I didn't know about it until one of them said something because I hadn't seen the news that day, and and then I went and checked, and I'm like, holy shit! So, name of
Right back.
okay. Norfolk Southern, David, is the name of the company. Norfolk Southern. Oh, cute. Now it's saying that the train disaster could happen again. Here's why. I don't even want to read that right now. Fought against new U.S. Oh, here's why. Norfolk Southern, the company behind the Ohio chemical spill, fought against a new U.S. Department of Transportation safety rule that may have helped limit the impact of this month's derailment. See, that's what I'm saying. Overall train length and weight have both grown over the last decade. It basically like what truck drivers deal with their do with their loads and this and that. They lied about what they had and what they were carrying, and the you know how dangerous it was and shit like that. So, yes, Norfolk Southern, Popper. That's it. All right, folks. The second poll. So the Conjuring was up there pretty high. Entity 61. So it looks like the Conjuring, folks, that has the highest. So we're going to be doing the Conjuring come Friday. We'll watch the movie, check it out, and figure out what you know about it, and we'll see what we can get into with it. Oh, absolutely, Boone. They've been doing everything so generically. It's crazy. It is. So, does anybody have anything else in regards to the story tonight, the movie, anything like that? Yay. You want to do the Conjuring, Molly? And that's what we're doing. So, you're all set, kid. We'll have a happy Molly cat for a little while. I guess if nobody has anything else, folks, I guess, let's see, we've been running for, and we've been going for a minute now. 1850. All right, I guess that'll be it for tonight then, guys. I will be live. Wait, what is tomorrow? Thursday. It is Thursday. Nah. I think I'll be live tomorrow. I have a doctor's appointment. I have to check it, but I'm pretty sure I know you did, Molly. You can always watch the replay, dear, if you want to. Thank you, Miss Heather. I do appreciate you, sis. I'm glad you're still here too. 3 hours. Thank you, Molly. If anybody would like to donate to support me or the channel, there's the Venmo, PayPal, and the Cash App, guys. Very much appreciated. As I said, the bills is coming due. Internet, StreamYard, all that fun crap. Got to keep it going so I can keep it going and spend my days with you folks. As I was saying, anybody that did donate to it tonight, I very much appreciate you. I should be live tomorrow between 11 and 11:30 again. And they'll have sauce everywhere. If our group has anything to say, if you get sick, sauce everywhere. I got you, Boone. I thank you. Yeah, but I should be live tomorrow, guys, between 11 and 11:30. And if anybody has any more questions, issues, or anything about tonight or even today's, guys, please leave comments. If you could, I very much appreciate it. Is this the right channel, Miss Nikki at the Wandering Orphan?
Yes.
Okay, guys, check out Miss Nikki's channel. It's Nikki at the Wandering Orphan. Show her some love. Subscribe, please.
First episode is almost completely scripted up for the teleprompter, just so I stay on topic, because I have a problem with that. I'm sure everybody who's seen anything I've been on gets it. But yep, just probably tomorrow, hopefully, film it, and it'd be great to drop it by the weekend. So first episode is going to be regarding Ted Bundy. Why did he let Liz live? So
It's a good question.
I have an answer.
He was such a gentleman, that's why.
Absolutely. I mean, he was a total class act, and he was a champion for women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He thought he was, of course. What do you mean, Boone? Another one in Arizona? What are you talking about? Another derailment? You're kidding me, right?
Don't be another shooter, please. Dear Lord, I can't handle it.
Another shooting. Are you talking about the Walmart one that they were talking about earlier? One in Cali very recently, or what are you guys talking about? Thank you, Star. I appreciate it. I'm glad that I got you a good nap in, hon. I'm good for getting people to fall asleep. That's always a good thing. Listen,
just looking at ASMR.
Yeah, right. I am super, super happy you guys joined me tonight. It dropped off by the numbers and everybody came back. So I thank you guys so much for hanging with me tonight and worrying about me. What about the entity? We'll go into that one, hon. Don't worry about it. That one that's got definite. Oh, there was a derailment in Cali. Okay. That's got definite triggers in it, and I'm kind of nervous about showing it to you, especially because most of my community is female, and it's basically that this woman, and she's still going through it, has been repeatedly sexually assaulted by a ghost, and she has bruising, and it shows video of it and everything. It's really crazy. I just don't want you guys to get upset. I would never want to do that to any of you guys and have you to watch some stuff like that. But it's up to you guys. If you guys want to do it, I would be glad to show it to you and tell you the story behind it, because it's insane. It really is insane. And it's been going on for 30 years or more. But yeah,
it might be useful.
Just saying.
If you live in a haunted house, maybe don't blame your husband. Ask the ghost.
Yeah, right. So just let me know if you guys are comfortable with the situation. I will definitely bring it to you guys and show it to you guys at some point. But again, folks, I need to bring this down for the night. I'm burnt out and my ass is numb. So
I got Grandpa outside crying to come in, and Slevin's whining. So
it is time to shut her down. Shut him down. Shut him down, as Public Enemy would say.
Stay safe and make medium choices.
Absolutely, guys. Guys, thank you once again so much. I love you guys. 2 pieces. I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow morning. David James, love you, brother. All of you guys, thank you so much. Nikki, thank you for joining me tonight. I do appreciate you.
Thank you for letting me annoy you.
Absolutely. Anytime, my dear. Anytime. Folks, have a great, great night. Stay safe. Love yourselves. Love each other. And do not change anything about yourselves because you're the beautiful people. I will see you all soon. Have a great, great night, folks. Bye-bye. Have a good night, Nick.
Night.